started here, but
All right, that's fine.
so we're on, and what you call it? So I got Andy back on the podcast, and wanted to. We probably have wasted 7 or 10 great podcasts with conversations just on the phone.
At least hours on the phone.
Yeah,
Every time we talk, it's 2.5, 3. I think that one time it was 3 hours and 45 minutes we talked.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's, for me, that's why I do the podcast, because I'm not good at all at having like short conversations. If I go out for some beers with somebody and we start talking, then, it could take 5-6 hours to, get through the conversation. And then, even today, like leaving, the homeowner was like, he's a terrific guy, and I'd like to sit there and talk with him, but we are working since this morning and had to get our butts, home. But I could sit and talk with homeowners forever about stuff too. So, had the homeowner today tell me something that I haven't heard I've been in the construction business for over 30 years now. And he said there was a way that the electrician did something, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. I got to change this up. And he goes, oh, don't worry about it, Bill. It doesn't have to look that good. Right. And I was like, what? I go, no, it absolutely has to look that good. And I've never heard anyone say, you're working on my house, doesn't have to look that good. Like, everyone else is like, usually unrealistic. I had a homeowner the one time upset that the knot distribution between the hardwood floor was more knots in this area and less knots in this area. And I'm like, It's wood. I'm not counting the knots. You know what I mean? It's just, it kind of goes right.
Equal amount of knots.
Right. Area. That there was way too many knots in her dining room and not enough knots in her living room. And I'm like, all right, this is not, you've got problems. You try and make everybody happy, but I can't control the knots in the wood. But we've been getting some pretty nice projects to do as far as the hot item is the outdoor living space. So like a big roof over part of your backyard. You know what I mean? Like it could be attached to your house. It could be, if you had an in-ground pool, it could be out there with with 4, legs on it, and have a fireplace underneath there and a kitchen or whatever you want, like a bar, all that. So pretty much like if you go to a resort and there's a bar with a, refrigerator and everything, and it's got a roof over the top of it, people are putting those in their backyard now with full kitchens and smokers. And I mean, people can easily spend $50,000-$60,000 on an outdoor living space. I think it's the hot item now because people have been trapped up at home with the COVID, self-isolation thing going on, or shelter in place. And they looked around their house and was like, this place sucks. I need some place to hang out and do something I want to do if I got to hang out here. So then, they're getting stuff done. That and the composite decking. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this stuff. Me and Phil Borelli started out when we were like 19 or 20, trying to do side jobs for decks and stuff. And it was either cedar, green treated, or you could find redwood back then to put for decks. This composite stuff they have got it dialed in. It is awesome colors, awesome finishes. The system is terrific that it goes in. The only problem is like, I have decks that are going in. One's going in a couple of weeks that the material is almost $20,000.
Wow.
Right. So it's like a, $29,000 deck for this job. So it's crazy. I mean, it's amazing how much that stuff costs. But anyway, so all right. So I want to talk about some issues that I know that so we've been friends for a long time, and like there's all kinds of people I'm connected with on Facebook, and I'm social with everybody, but like I consider you to be like one of my actual friends, right? So
yes, I have a lot of respect for you, Bill.
Well, I appreciate that. So I know we've lived through social media and two different presidents, right? So three actually, Bush and then Obama and then now Trump.
Right.
The freedom of speech thing it's a strange one, right? Because like I believe it's there. And part of the reason I want to do a podcast was because I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. Like I can just say whatever I want to say.
That's right.
So this is just me, and there's no sponsors, nothing like that. No one to control anything that I say, and no one controls. I control who comes on, right? So
Yeah.
like I pick whoever I want to come on, and hey, there you go.
Yeah, my parrot cat just jumped.
Yeah. Does he get a little crazy when you start talking to somebody?
No, every once in a while she'll just jump up on me like that.
Yeah. So like, and I absolutely have looked for, and I want more people that you would think would be completely opposed to anything I'm going to say, or like, I don't like it when I see a conversation on social media and the people go right to the fucking libertards or, whatever like that. Cause it's like, that's useless. Like you're not going to get anywhere with that. Like all you're going to do is divide a line and say, you're on that side, I'm on this side, go fuck yourself. And it doesn't make any sense. Why even have those conversations? I mean,
echo chambers are not fun.
Well, the echo chambers too are no fun either, but to talk to somebody, if me and you got on the phone and in the first couple of minutes, you're like, you're just a fucking libertard. The phone conversation would probably be over with in 10 minutes. Gotta be like, all right, I gotta let this guy go. Cause I'm not gonna just sit here and take silly abuse that means nothing to me. I don't care if, I think it comes from watching certain news and certain news outlets, because it's almost like the same programming as you would get in the military, where they dehumanize your enemy, call them a raghead or a zip or a gook or something like that, so that you don't feel like that's a human. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot on, if you watch MSNBC, that would say that, the Trumpsters, and I don't call them conservatives because I've yet to see anything conservative about this administration. There's nothing conservative going on. We're running the biggest deficits that ever have been run. We're supposed to be in great economic times. If you're in a great economic time and you're not paying your bills, when are you going to pay your bills? Like if someone came to you and said, hey, we're going to give you a 30% raise, Andy, and you just decided, I got 30% more money, I'm just not going to pay my fucking bills. That'd make no goddamn sense, right? That's like when you pay your bills.
Right.
When you go into some shit storm like we're in now, then you may be like, I'm going to have to let that bill lag or whatever because I can't pay that bill. I ain't got the money. I got to eat. You know what I mean? You got to choose.
Right.
So, and again, I've never been a Clinton fan, either Bill or Hillary. But when Bill Clinton was the president, we had the tech boom, had nothing to do with him, but we had a surplus, right? We were actually not running a national deficit for the year. We were still at national debt, but no deficit for that year. We were running a surplus.
Right.
But then we went into Bush and he gave tax cuts to the wealthy and we started to run a debt again, yearly debt.
But you don't believe that is in part because of 9/11?
Oh no, the tax cuts weren't because of that.
I'm not talking about the tax cuts, but when we really started going into debt, you know what I mean?
Oh no, absolutely. Like that was, from what I understand, that was the USA's plan with Afghanistan, was to feed the Afghans, weapons, including what's his name? The guy we killed, the Bin Laden. We were giving those guys weapons and stuff so that we could keep drawing out the Russians to bankrupt them. You know what I mean? As
Right,
far as that
right.
goes.
And there was, I mean, I watched this full series on YouTube, I don't know, about 5 years ago called Zeitgeist. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Nope. Nope.
They put out the whole political plan since before the, you know, the Fed came in what was it, 1913, I believe it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, that whole thing went all the way up to 9/11 and up till, I don't know, shit, uh, 10, 12 years ago, and how we were gonna invade, you know, Afghanistan, Iraq, go into Syria, do the, you know what I mean? So there was like 7 countries that we were supposed to invade
Okay.
after, you know what I mean? After all that. But so anyway, go ahead.
No. So, like the Fed thing, that's another like, conspiracy theory thing or whatever like that, that like, the Fed had JFK killed and stuff like that because he was going to deregulate the Fed or
Right.
whatever like that. I don't even, that's not even one that it doesn't even seem interesting enough for me to go down that rabbit hole. Like,
Right. But if you watched it, if you were to just look it up and watch it, a lot of stuff, like, that's the weird thing about like a conspiracy theory. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've never believed myself to be one, but there's some of that shit in there that makes total perfect sense. And then there's some of that shit in there that you're just like, well, where the fuck did this come from?
Right. That's how they hook you, though. They always give you a little kernel of some truth,
Right.
and then they
Get
tie
the
everything to
truth.
that kernel. Right. I mean, I had the guy's house we were at today asked, hey, you're doing a podcast, and he was surprised that I had done so many episodes and stuff like that. Like, I think this is episode 64, and he's like,
Wow, I'm gonna write it down.
who's the craziest guy you've ever had on there? And I go, well, tonight's gonna be no.
Yeah, right.
So I said, I wouldn't say anybody that I've had on is crazy.
Right.
I've tried to get some people that are a little bit crazy on, but the crazy ones always, like at the last second, just bail. They chicken out, they ghost me. Like I got a guy I'm connected to on social media that is like full out, 5G is causing this coronavirus and like all this other craziness, and that, Tom Hanks and Bill Gates are all pedophiles, and they're all like, I mean, come on, Tom Hanks, what, like, where does that come from? And then like anybody who is a Hollywood elite is a pedophile.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. And I mean, it seems a little crazy to me that people seem okay to say something like that a lot on social media, like to everyone that's connected with them, with really no evidence at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not substantial. Yeah, right.
No. So that's the freedom of speech thing that gets a little funny, because like if they decided to say Andy Likers this or Andy Likers that, and they went off on a tangent about it, it'd be kind of shitty, right? I mean, that's kind of, for all we know, Tom Hanks is just a real nice guy making movies and shit. And he's like, I don't understand what the hell's going on. There's this whole group of people that thinks I'm running a pedophile ring.
Right.
And then that goes right to that, the pedophile ring that was supposed to be run out of the pizza place in New Jersey. And then the guy went in there with a gun and shot the guy because he wouldn't tell him where the basement was at.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, so that's where
he actually shot into the closet where he thought they were hiding, or the people were hiding, but it was all the employees, like their not necessarily their work clothes, but hey, hang your sweater up in the closet, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Yeah, that was pretty fucking nuts.
Right. Well, and I mean, there's a lot of nuts going on, and then the media is culprit because our media is based on a profit system that, they profit from clicks or they profit from views. And so when 25 people grab, semi-automatic rifles and they go stand on the steps in Michigan and they pull that tight shot with the 25 people and try and make it look like 250 people because now everyone will watch the fucking news because there's guys with fucking AK-47 standing on the goddamn courthouse. You know, it's like, oh my God, look at these fucking people. Like, you have a small minority of people who are, I don't know how you rank it, but that's not protesting. That's really stepping on the line of terrorism. When you're carrying, what do you got to carry that gun for to protest? That's not how the country's set up.
Well, I mean, think about the Revolutionary War, Bill.
That's a
It
war.
wasn't all just about taxes. They
Yeah,
wanted
but that's what you're
guns
talking
too.
about. Web, you're talking about a war. You're not talking about.
Well, what brought it on?
Yeah. But if you look at no, I've read all kinds of history books. There wasn't anyone walking around with guns saying "do what we want." They were saying they were like tar and feather. I mean, they were far more crucial of their politicians back then than we are now. You know what I mean? Like we could let them get away with fucking murder. In fact, like let them fucking get away with everything pretty much. And back then they were tar. They'd run a guy out on a rail. You know what that means? They would have a rail, tie his ass to the fucking rail, and run him out of town on a rail. Like, that was shit that they actually did. And they don't do any of that shit anymore. But they didn't, like, protesting would be, like, similar to, like, when they protested the Vietnam War, right? You're out there making a presence that, hey, we're here in numbers and we're not happy about this. We want Washington to pay attention to us. I totally get that. That seems legit. But I'm carrying a semi-automatic machine gun on my chest.
It's not a machine gun.
Well, semi-automatic rifle.
There we go.
You understand? How easy is it to convert one?
Well, it just depends on who you know, I guess.
But it's not that hard, is what I'm saying. And it's a machine gun, right?
Could be, but it's not military grade. So
I understand that. Listen. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm just saying before, you know what I mean?
We've had this conversation, and I am way to the right of even some people that are on the right. I think that you should be able to qualify for just about anything. So if there is fully auto, and I also think that they should set up. I don't know why they don't do this. They must have it. I can't. I've never looked into it because that's not an interest of mine. But I think they should have clubs set up where you could go there and shoot fucking anything. A fucking fully automatic 50 cal. If you want to waste the money on the ammo, go there and shoot. If it's a safe environment where you can't fuck anybody up, knock your socks off. Pursuit of happiness, man. If it makes you happy, go fucking do it. That's fine. For me, I'm a little bit frugal, man. That's like 50 cents, $1.50. Like
$9.
Right. I'm blowing away my kids' college fucking fund because I'm having a good time this Saturday. That's not for me.
That's why you got to know somebody who reloads.
There you go. Well, that's still, I've seen that. I mean, I just bought the boys shotguns for Christmas, and I was looking at the reload stuff. It ain't that cheap.
No, it's not cheap. It's expensive to get into if you're going to get into it. But like my buddy said, he shoots so much, he had to get into it to save money.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's the reasoning.
And all the other stuff to press his own shells and everything else.
Right. And the center fires, the gunpowder, all that. He's got it down to a science, and he's got racks and racks of ammo in his basement. And like he wants to go shoot. He goes out, he'll shoot 1,000 rounds that day. I've been out with him when we did it, and we were picking up every single piece of brass.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We spent just as much time picking up all the brass as we did shooting.
Right. So, I mean, I think that we live in a country where there's a gun culture, and I don't think it's ever, whenever I hear anyone say that they want to take all your guns or something like that, it just sounds so unrealistic to me that that's ever going to gain any traction, because I know conservatives and I know liberals who like to just go shoot. I know conservatives and liberals who own guns. So I mean, you've got probably like 92% approval rating for guns in general. Now, your idea of what you want to do with a gun and my idea of what I want to do with a gun are completely different. Like,
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
I don't find that. I find guns to be a piss poor defensive tool.
Okay.
I just don't see it as a defensive tool. I see it as I have a gun so I can kill something. And listen, man, if that means a human, that means a human. But mostly for me, it means ducks and geese and pheasants and shit like that, right? Like hunting stuff. So, you know, but for me, it's always been an offensive tool, not a defensive one. If I wanted a defensive tool, I'd need a bunker, a steel box, something with a couple of slits in it that I could shoot my offensive weapon out of. But defensive is another thing. You know, we've had this conversation, and the way that I look at it is, you know, if you got a sports team, you've got an offense, you got a defense, and they've got separate tools. If you're a concealed carry guy, and if you're carrying or you're not carrying or whatever, like you say, you don't tell anybody. If the day that you are carrying, and I decided that was the day, and like we don't know each other. All I know is this Andy guy. There's some reason that I want to hurt this guy, right? Like,
right.
Which is another cockamamie fucking thing too. This is not how criminals operate. Criminals operate on, I believe Andy's got 20 grand in his pocket, and I'm going to try and get that 20 grand.
Right.
They don't operate on like, I think I want to kill that fucking little biker dude over there. That's what I want to do. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. These are people that something mentally is wrong with you. But if I knew, say I had inside information that you were carrying 10 grand on you and I'm a criminal and I wanted that 10 grand. Now you're carrying, and I know that you're probably carrying because you got 10 grand on you. I'm 100% certain, 100%, which I'm almost 100% certain about nothing, that if you didn't know I was coming and I had a gun and you were carrying, I could kill you. Because I could kill you without you ever looking at me. I could kill you without drawing any attention. I could, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's an offensive thing. You carrying your gun is of no defense at all because you don't have it out.
Well, the way I look at it, when I carry, mine's always at the ready. You know what I mean? It's always in battery, they call it. You know what I mean? I always got one in the pipe. It's ready to go.
Yep. Right.
You know?
Makes sense.
Now, you need the one hand, because a lot of times, not necessarily, I don't remember the exact number on the statistics, but like women that conceal carry, you shouldn't hide it in your purse, because somebody's coming up, they're going to rob, they're just going to grab that purse off your shoulder and take off running.
You're going to have your gun too. Right.
You know, so now like a guy, you know, men, you know how men are. You got a problem with me and I got a problem with you. I'm going to come up to you face to face. So if I'm walking down the street, let's say some dude, he makes eye contact to me and we make eye contact.
I'm going to just, let me pause you there, because you're giving a scenario where you're in like a stand your ground sort of a situation.
No. Well, no, I'm not. I'm just like you're saying, you're going to come up and snake me from behind. From 4 different directions I can get you because you don't know I'm coming. Right. Okay. So, all right. So let's say you punch me in the back of the head or hit me with the butt of the gun in the back of the head.
Why don't I just shoot you?
Because you're not. Because most criminals are fucking wimps. They're not. They're scared. They don't have the proper ethics and training on how to properly use that firearm. Did you ever see the video of the guy who tried to rob the gas station and the gun was fucking jammed before he even pulled it out?
No.
He had no idea. He's like, and the clerk was just laughing at him, like, dude, what are you doing? That's your pistol? You don't even know how to use it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I get it. But I mean, so this guy's obviously, you know, like, okay, so that's another situation where like if you're in a situation where your last resort is, okay, I got to get money. I don't have food for my baby at home or whatever like that. And my plan is to take this pistol that I've hardly never shot. I just bought it from somebody on the streets. I'm using it to intimidate somebody, and I'm going to go rob a, liquor store or some gas station or something like that. You're probably starting off with, you're a moron. You're not very bright to fucking begin with.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like me, if 90% of the time it's on my person. Okay.
Sure.
And I'll just throw that out just so whoever listens to this knows.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't care, but it's concealed. But the thing is, if some guy came up to me and stuck a gun in my face and said, hey, give me all the money in your pocket, and I got $200 on me, hey, here's the $200 fucking dollars.
Sure.
Because it ain't worth all the litigation that I'm going to go through, even though I got USCCA insurance and all that kind of shit. Here's that $200.
Okay, so let me just add to that scenario. Say you're getting the $200. The guy's pointing a gun at you for the $200, and you're giving the $200, and he catches a glimpse that you have a gun. I think if I'm the guy robbing you and I have you at gunpoint, you're giving me $200, I'm like, oh shit, he's got a gun. Now what am I going to do? Because I can't back away pointing a gun at you. Everyone's going to see what's going on. Secondly, right. If I turn to run, you're going to start to shoot me.
No, I'm not, because the threat's already gone, and then I'm in litigation for
but I'm dictating what's going on next because I'm spooked. All I'm saying is you could have upped the ante from just losing $200 to maybe getting shot in the liver.
Right.
So, that's what I think.
I don't need to do that.
What?
I said, I don't need to do that.
No, but so when a little lady's got the gun in her purse and the guy goes to rob her and she tries to get the gun out and the guy gets the gun, I feel like she upped the ante from maybe taking a backhand and getting her purse stolen to now he's going to get the gun and he could shoot her, sort of a thing. So, right. I don't know. I think that it's debatable whether or not it's advantageous to have a completely armed society, because then it's an arms race, right? If I don't know, I've never been in a situation where I'm like, I'm going to rob somebody. That's just not been my thing ever, right? I don't, there's a million ways to make money.
Yeah.
I've always
just weren't raised like that, Bill.
Well, I don't even know if that's it. I was never in a desperate enough situation where I was like, oh my God, this is my last out. I was raised with enough intelligence and enough school and enough trade and everything else that I had that I could always make a buck. You know what I mean?
Well,
and
that's called fucking self-worth and pride.
I guess, but I definitely see people that, we grew up with people that try to break into houses and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we knew them assholes, and most of them fuckers are dead now, I think. Or, they're on Skid Row, or, you know what I mean? I don't know.
But it was just never my thing. So I can't really get into that mind. But for me if I was to get there, to take a human life it'd be a big deal for sure.
Fuck yeah.
And I mean, I grew up with, my dad's a, former Marine combat vet in Vietnam. My grandfather is 101st Airborne in the European theater in World War II. My grandfather and two other guys got the keys to the Blue Goose, to Hitler's Rolls Royce. They got that car. In fact, my Uncle Tommy, who's up in Minocqua, has the keys to Hitler's Rolls Royce.
Wow.
So
that could be worth some fucking coin.
Right, I would think. He's got a whole chest full of all kinds of awesome shit that my grandfather got out of Germany. But so I mean, I was in close contact with people who have taken human life, and for them it's no joke. It's no minor thing. It's a real big deal. So I couldn't imagine it. And then I can also extrapolate myself out to say, if some 17-year-old or 15-year-old kid was, on Oxycontin or on heroin or whatever, broke into my house because he thought he could find something that he could hawk so he could get his heroin or whatever like that. If I take his life, I know he's just a worthless drug addict or whatever like that, but maybe he straightens himself out in a couple years and he's got a story to tell that helps other people straighten themselves out, and he becomes a useful piece of society. And instead I took his life.
Right.
That
Well,
got a mom and sisters and you know what I mean? Like, you don't like, so it'd be hard for me. If I saw somebody robbing my house and I wasn't in the house, I would wait till he was done.
yeah, call the cops, and well, you got a cop fucking right around the corner from you.
I got insurance. It'll
Yeah.
pay for whatever he took. I
Right.
don't keep stacks of cash at my house. So I'll be
Right.
fine. Like that, it'll work out. Like it'll be fine. And then I won't have to have confrontation with the guy. Once he scoots out of here, I'll pull in and honk the horn a couple times and look around and do whatever I got to do. So, but so the gun culture between me and you is obviously just a tiny bit different, but
Tiny bit.
I still grew up with guns. I still grew up shooting. We grew up in a hunting situation so much though that like I could probably count on one hand how many times I shot a paper target. And my dad was a Will County auxiliary sheriff, when I was growing up too. So he was shooting pistols and all that stuff all the time. I shot plenty of those too.
Right.
But it's never been a thing that appealed to me.
No, well, I don't know. I mean, my dad taught me how to shoot when I was little. And then, going through the Marine Corps and stuff like that. I've been teaching my daughter, she's how to shoot, and she's a damn good shot. But, every year the Illinois State Rifle Association has Daddy Take Your Daughters to the Range Day.
Nice.
They shoot anything from bow and arrow to black powder. Everything, shotguns, pistols, AR-15s, AR-10s, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I mean, that was our kick. You know what I mean? Like, hey, take my dog. This is my Father's Day deal.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
So that was good. And I mean, she knows how to shoot. Just it's a shame we can't go to the range these days. You got to find somebody, down south with about 40 acres that all the hillbilly friends like to shoot too. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, so they have a place in Diamond, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's indoor trap shooting and everything else.
Yes.
And me and the boys we were totally set to go there because they just got brand new shotguns for Christmas.
Yes.
And, none of that's going on. So I think we're going to try and make it out to the Kankakee State Park area has got a spot where you can shoot also. So we're going to go out there and try and shoot some trap and stuff like that, which, it's fun. I think it's a necessary skill that a guy or a girl should have. Do I ever feel powerful with it? No, doesn't do that. And I know a lot of guys that get on a power trip when they're shooting guns. That's not my thing. I honestly, and don't take this the wrong way, but I always felt like, so I used to fight a lot and I could handle myself and everything else. I always felt like any 13-year-old punk could pull a trigger. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was kind of wimpy to be carrying a gun because you were scared that I was going to manhandle you, so you're going to pull this gun out. And it pissed me off sometimes because, like, it would equalize the situation, right? So, like, I'd get a hold of you and break bones on you, not you, but, somebody else, but they pull that gun out, and I'm like, oh, well, all right, so.
Well, the old the saying from the Old West is God created all men and Sam Colt made them all equal.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's
I've
just
always been the Nazi.
I'm just throwing it out there, but no, hey, me carrying a gun does not make me feel any more than 110% of a man that I am.
Right. Sure.
I just carry it because it's my constitutional right. And to me, the Constitution doesn't take a break.
Right.
you know, as far as bullshit like that. You know what I mean? And there's other shit that we've talked about that said we'd never bring up in conversation, and I'm not going to bring or on a podcast.
Oh,
But
I
you know
don't,
what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure maybe
maybe, yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
you'll figure it out, or I'll text it to you so you
There
know.
you go. There you go. There you go.
But you know, I just think, hey, if it's my constitutional right, why should I not exercise it? Going back to your freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of your rights to redress your grievances to the government. You know, what everybody has the right to do that.
Right.
So if you're willing to express, you know, your First Amendment, why would I not be inclined to express my Second Amendment?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm getting at. You know what I mean? That's
Sure. And I don't think that should ever be, I don't want to say, so there's like a weird way that somebody could say that your rights are being infringed on, right? Um, my
Howard.
thing is, if you're able to carry a gun, then
Okay.
your rights aren't being infringed on. But there are definitely people out there that will tell you that if you're not able to carry every gun that the military carries, then your rights are being infringed on.
Right.
So
I get that. And I
I
understand that.
changed your name in the corner there.
Oh, now I'm Andy Liker again.
No, did you see it in the corner? Can you see your name in the corner?
No. What do I got to do?
On the bottom
I
of
don't
your-
want to touch this thing because
no, no, it's on the bottom of your picture.
we'll get disconnected or something.
No, 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 don't touch it. You don't touch anything. So you see on my picture, it says William Geigner.
Oh, no, it doesn't. I
On
don't
the,
have that in here.
oh, on the bottom of the screen for me, it doesn't say William Geigner.
Well, do I got to scroll down? Hold on a second.
No, 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 you should have scrolled.
Oh, no. I heard a
Oh,
boop.
wait.
Left it
Now,
alone.
when you're looking at this Zoom thing, is it just the person that's talking that's on, or
Yeah.
is it two of us
No,
side by side?
I'm looking at you you're the big guy.
Okay.
Naturally, and I'm the little guy on the top.
Okay, so up on top, then on your picture in the bottom left-hand corner should say your name.
Oh, well, maybe I'll have to put my cheaters on.
There you go.
Nope, ain't there.
Oh wow. Okay. I changed it for a second to Captain America.
Oh yes. Hey, right Friday.
It's changed to Andy Laker now instead of your daughter's name. But
No.
but anyway, so I don't feel like there's. I think we're kind of past the. I'm going to have an armed revolt against the government because the government is so powerful. So as a guy who believes that you're carrying a gun and you're able to carry a gun because you can overturn a tyrannical government, how do you square? Because if I believe that, I'd have a hard time also believing that my government should spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year to keep making the military bigger and bigger, because it's making it impossible for a band of people who are upset about something to overturn a tyrannical government when we don't even know what our government has right now. For all you know, the government's watching us right this second. For all you know, the government could pull up in a vehicle and have x-ray vision and see exactly where you are in your house.
Right.
And take you out without any fucking problem at all.
Yeah, it's the Big Brother era.
Yeah, but how can you say that with a, like, did you see the Waco
Yeah.
that you saw that it's not a documentary, it's like a movie that they put together.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then like Ruby Ridge and stuff like that.
Yep, Ruby Ridge.
Anybody who ends up thinking that they can repel the government fucking loses terribly unless you're
Well, I mean, my opinion on Ruby Ridge was you know, that was all, from what I got out of that documentary, that guy was working with the CIA to get in with the skinheads or the white supremacists. I'm sorry.
Sure.
And then, you know, he kind of joined the group, but then really didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And they were pissed off that he didn't want to give them all the information.
Sure. Makes sense.
So then that's where that whole Ruby Ridge came thing from.
Right. But I mean, whatever the details are, that's kind of irrelevant. I mean, I understand that it's an interesting story, but the end game was that he barricaded himself. And I mean, you know, if you look at logistics,
His wife, his 2 kids, and a fucking dog up in, you know what I mean? They were, like the original people that wanted to live off the fucking grid.
but he did it the way that he had it set up. He tactically had it the right way. He had the high ground.
Yeah.
He was in a spot where there was like a gorge or something behind him where they couldn't flank him or anything like that. And he still fucking got murdered. Like it did not fucking work out.
It was a government murder. So was what was his name? David Koresh was the
And
was
you
the,
Arsenal, the Branch Davidians.
Branch Davidians, yeah.
Right. So but their situation was they had a fucking arsenal and they had a small army that was in that compound, and it was a compound. Like you could not get in there or anything, and the government still burned them out and fucking killed most of them.
Right.
Like, I mean,
and to think about that, I was in the Marine Corps back then, and frickin' Janet Reno, she was the head of the whatever, but shit, Saturday Night Live was having a field day with that for weeks.
Right. Sure.
Burning down that whole fucking administration over that fucking thing. That's, I mean, what's his name? Will Ferrell, like my least favorite actor. But he used to come out on Saturday Night Live as Janet Reno. You know what I mean?
Will Ferrell? I mean, come on. There's almost no better movie than Step Brothers. That fucking movie is awesome. Oh, my God.
You know,
I don't know how many times.
I like Riley, but I mean, Will Ferrell, shit. I mean, I think the only movie I really liked him in was
Ricky Bobby.
No, the other guys, him and Marky Mark.
Yeah, him, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
yeah, I mean that was funny too.
Will Ferrell, I love Will Ferrell on Saturday Night Live, but his movies, I don't know. I
feel bad for you guys, man. I think you're forced not to like him because you picked on George W. Bush or something.
No, I loved him when he did that on Saturday Night Live and all that.
I have never cleaned out a garage, a room, a shed without looking at my sons and saying, now there's so much more room for activities. Never. And that's a Step Brothers line. The Step Brothers, they make bunk beds out of their 2 beds. And he's like, look at all the room for activities. I mean, I don't know. That movie.
I don't know, man. I just can't get into Will Ferrell. I mean, I loved him. Like I said, I loved him on Saturday Night Live. The whole cheerleaders with him and Sherry O'Terry.
Yeah.
Hooked. I was like, this guy is fucking funny as shit.
Right.
Then they give him some fucking movies, and I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Like, Ron Burgundy, I thought was semi-humorous. You know
I don't know how you can't. You love Dave throws the fucking burrito out the window, and he hits Jack Black, who punts his fucking dog off a bridge. I mean, right. That's another one too. Like, you know, I think every time I talk to a new girl, I'm like, I'm kind of a big deal. I think Will Ferrell's fucking hilarious. Yeah. But even the one with Kevin Hart was funny as fuck.
Oh, no, wait, I forgot about that one. That was where he was going to go to jail.
Right. Get hard.
Yeah, there were some good lines in that. You want me to do what? And he goes,
you know, like I said, but you guys are constrained. You guys have to, like, Robert De Niro's no good no more.
Hey, I love all Robert's fucking movies. You know what I mean? Like, I love Bruce Springsteen. and people are like, "What the fuck are you listening to him for? He's a fucking ultra liberal." I said, "He has been since I've ever known."
Yeah, right.
I
Right. I
still
don't
like
ever.
music.
For me, politics does not play a part in. I'll be honest. There are people that we know that have like, you post a lot of memes and stuff like that that have been like, I can't even have that on my Facebook. So they either unfollow you or something like that. I'm like, for what? Like, just keep scrolling. Who fucking cares? My situation is always, honestly, I swear, it's less political than it is. I can't seem to tolerate unabasted, like, fucking falsehoods. Just stuff that is not even remotely true. Like the whole, like, birtherism and all, like, oh, come on, just like bullshit. There's no fucking way we'd let someone be president that they didn't look into. The
Right.
CIA,
Every,
the CIA knows how many fucking hairs I have on my asshole right now.
right.
They absolutely fucking know where Barack Obama was born. And I mean, yeah, I know you're saying that, but like, it's fucking bullshit. Like, there's no
I know
fucking
it is.
way they
But-
handed the guy the keys to the fucking government and he could possibly be a secret fucking terrorist. Like,
Right.
there's no fucking way. But we ran with that nonsense forever. So like, and my thing is like, people want to believe something. The other day I was in the lumberyard.
Oh, hey, let's take a pause for the cause here real quick.
Oh, yeah, check and pause. Yeah.
All right,
No,
hang
no,
on.
no.
All right. So I hope I didn't make you lose your train.
No,
of
no, no, not at all, not at all. So the point I was going to was, when somebody wants to believe something, they'll almost believe anything, which is nonsense. And the ability to search the internet, it's fucking terrific. Like, I'll go in the gym with my two sons and we will start having a conversation about, traveling light speed, the speed of sound versus light, like, and all this stuff is Googleable, right? You can Google it up and find out what exactly is the sound, the sound barrier. What is the speed of light? The difference is phenomenally huge, right? Between the speed of sound and the speed of light.
Yes.
But the problem is that you can also use Google in a way, or a search engine for that matter, that you search the outcome that you want, and then you can find anything that you want to try and substantiate your point of view. That is a bullshit way of using the fucking internet. That is using the internet like as a weapon to just try and get your point across, and it's bullshit. The way that you're supposed to use it is like a scientist. A scientist comes up and he says, all right, I've got this theory. I've got this theory that, gravity works different at higher elevations, or whatever the fucking theory he's got, right? And then what he does is he does a rigorous amount of testing to disprove his theory. He goes searching for something to blow up his situation. He doesn't go everywhere searching for information to back up his information, because his problem is, he has the opposite problem that people on social media have. He doesn't want to look like a fucking fool in front of his peers. So he does everything he can to poke holes in his situation. If he feels like he has put his theory through a rigorous enough test and it is passed, now it's
Proven.
now it's something he wants to present to people.
Right.
The opposite happens on social media. He goes on there, he finds some fucking article for some fucking hack that has a fucking agenda, and then he finds 3 different fucking other assholes that want to back up that fucking agenda. He's like, look, this is the truth. It ain't the fucking truth. It's a bunch of shit you found, and now you want me to look at it. Great. Now I got to sit here and look at this fucking video from a guy pretending to be a doctor telling me that 5G towers are causing fucking coronavirus.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. I'm not going down that goddamn rabbit hole.
Right. And I don't know enough about that 5G stuff, with the exception of 5G is going to need to be around to run that, to run them self-driven cars, which I would never own one. You know what I mean? And all that. There's a couple other things that it's got to be implemented for. But other than that, I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's just
And I don't really care.
Right, I have. So I looked into the what like what exactly it is, and you can look at it for what it's a radio wave, right? It's like a microwave
Yeah,
wave, like a
yeah,
like
it's
a
a generation.
it's a
Of,
frequency that they're
yeah,
putting out. It is so low compared to even a radio wave or something like that. Like there is, or an X-ray or something like that.
what's the gigahertz on it? I don't even
I
know.
don't even know. But what I'm saying to you is, if you're sitting there with one on your crotch all day long, you
Yeah,
could maybe run into some testicular cancer.
yeah,
But it's certainly not causing a virus. Like that's not. We've got the virus. We've looked at it under a microscope. You know, there was a rapper dude who like put out a thing that was like, "Listen, you morons, 5G is in like fucking 4 or 5 countries altogether. There's 151 countries that have coronavirus. They have nothing to do with each other. Stop saying stupid shit."
right,
People they don't follow the golden rule. The golden rule being better to be thought of a fool than open your mouth and remove all fucking doubt.
right.
They just will go off posting and posting and posting. And, like the people who post 30, 40 times a day and it's all the same shit, they should be embarrassed. It's embarrassing. Like, you're wrong, but just because you found fucking 20 things to back up this one stupid thing you're saying, the whole thing with the coronavirus thing, I think is just about over with as far as the summer goes. I'm out doing working and stuff like that, and everybody's doing whatever the fuck they want as far as that goes. Like, and that's fine. Do what you want, however you do it. But like, if I go to the lumberyard, everyone at the lumberyard's got a mask on. I have a mask on because you can't go in the lumberyard without one on.
Right.
And if I can avoid going into the lumberyard, I do. So like I do curbside for everything because personally, I don't want to touch the door. I don't want to touch anything that could have been fucking coughed or sneezed on, any of that shit. And not because I don't want to get it, but like not because I'm so worried about me, but because every week or every 5 days I'm in somebody else's yard working on their place. I don't want to infect somebody that goes to talk to their grandmother and kills the person.
Right. Well,
So,
now, so how do you pay? How do you pay for all this stuff? You give somebody else your card. They got gloves on.
nope, none of that.
You know
Nope.
what I'm saying?
Nope, all modern, man. They send me a PayPal link.
Oh, okay.
Click on my phone.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
People that think that they go to the grocery store, swipe their card, touch that keypad without sanitizing it or something,
Right.
that they're
Since
doing a
this
service, they're
Right.
they're fucking stupid. That's
Since this
I,
thing,
I eat dirt and work in fucking mud all day long.
yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like I give a fuck. You know what I mean? When I go to the grocery store is before I come home. Like after work, I go to the grocery store, I come home. You know,
Yeah.
once a week.
I have not been to a grocery store since this broke.
Really?
Not one time.
You have it all delivered or what?
Delivery cost me $10 and then I tip the person delivering it another $10. I
Nice.
spent 20 extra dollars, but I'm in my mind, this person is doing a job that's dangerous. I'm helping tip them and give them extra money, and it's creating a job, so I'm fine with it. And then I don't have to touch shit. And then we even go as far as we have a gallon jug there with bleach and water in it. We wet a rag down with bleach and water and go wipe everything down that they're bringing in, right? As you bring in the milk cartons, you wipe off the handle with the bleach and the water, put it in the fridge. Pay attention to we pay attention to what we're doing the entire time. Do not touch your face. Don't touch anything. Bring everything in, put everything away. Go wash your fucking hands after you're done, and it's fine. We're finished. Everything's disinfected and put away. And they say it doesn't last that long on items anyway. So we've had no problem, which, we won't because we're doing everything we can. But the way that I'm looking at it is we're doing everything we can because I want shit to go back to normal. So the guy who's like, fuck that, I ain't doing shit, ain't no government gonna tell me what to do, you're not helping. You're just not helping.
Right. Hey, I mean, I wear my mask even though I know it's not fucking doing shit. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's not true.
I don't know. Hey, your buddy Fauci even fucking originally said
No,
that.
that's not true either. That's not true either. What Fauci said was, don't run out and buy all the masks up because we have a shortage of masks, and they need them for people who are actually in a situation. And when Fauci was saying that it's context that matters, we were supposed to be sheltering and placing and really not going anywhere. So if you were to buy up a mask that somebody that's a nurse in a hospital needs, that would be a detriment to her. And the mask is not, it's the offensive defensive thing. I don't wear a mask because I think I'm not going to get something because I have a mask. I'm wearing a mask because if I have something and I cough, it's a hand that's permanently over my face. It catches, dude, even if it catches 80% of the droplets, then it does something.
Well, I mean, I just watched a video today where Fauci said, "Hey, that mask is only going to catch like all the masks like you see people. Well, not all these designer ones you got, but like the cheap little hoop ring fucking surgical
I
mask.
understand what you're saying, but is there any percentage that you think it's catching?
Well, whatever it catches.
No. Come on, you need to throw out, you need to do this mental gymnastics where you throw out everything about the world, and say that a hand over your mouth is doing nothing. And this is better than a hand over your mouth, it's over your face. So when you sneeze or cough, it catches something, correct?
Yeah,
So isn't something better than nothing?
yeah. Oh no, I agree with
And
you.
that's all I'm saying. Listen, I'm not able to do something 100%. Doesn't mean I can't do it for 50%. All like it's the same argument that we go back to the guns with. People say, "Well, that gun law is not going to stop all of it." Well, I don't need to stop all of it. All I need to do is stop one of it. All I need to do is save one fucking life, and if it does that, then I'm fine. So they've said that. Listen, if I'm wearing a mask and you're wearing a mask, and we're staying 6 feet apart, our chances are very slim of shedding this. Now, if I'm completely in the throes of I'm gonna fucking die, I'm so infected, all I'm doing is coughing and shit. Listen, man, get some fucking brains and don't hang out around anyone anyway at that point. But the problem with this virus is you can be contagious, shedding the virus, and have zero symptoms for the duration of the time that you have it. You can be asymptomatic.
Yes. So now here, I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
There's this guy at work. His wife works for a municipality
Okay.
down by you, and I'm not going to say the name of the town,
Sure.
but it starts with a B.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Anyway, so when all this broke, the municipality shut down. Fuck it. Let's just take it.
Yep.
All right. No problem. She's working from home. He's working at work. You know what I mean? 6 weeks later, hey, we're going to open up the municipality, but everybody's got to get tested first. 6 out of the 9 people that worked at that municipality office tested positive.
Okay.
So, does that, I mean, to me, the question is, does that mean that she had it before? Like him and her had like when she tested positive, he went out and got a hotel room because he's like, well, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, that's your wife. You've been like sleeping with her every night for the past 6 fucking weeks.
Sure.
Whatever. So he went and got tested for it. He tested positive. They told him, this is what the doctors told him. If you don't have any symptoms within the next 10 days, you can go back to work. So he came back to work last Monday.
That does not seem to be a good idea. Right now, I'm not saying that I'm in no way.
I'm just telling you, this is my experience.
So here's my the closest encounter I have with it. A good friend of mine, his father, he was on the podcast and he was saying his father tested positive, right? And his
Yeah.
father's like in his 70s, tested positive, and they looked at his mother and said, this was like early on. This was like probably almost 2 months ago. And they said, we don't have enough testing. We are not going to test you, but you should just assume that you have it. So you need to go home, quarantine yourself so that you can't be around anybody. And then the dad had symptoms real bad. Like he was put into the hospital, oxygen, all the whole thing. He was having a hard time. The mom, no symptoms, went home, isolated herself from everybody, never had symptoms. The father got home from the hospital. The mother never tested positive. And it just went like that. Like that was it. They did not. Now she asked, am I considered somebody that is a positive, like in the numbers? And they said, no, you have to take a test to be somebody that's considered positive in the numbers, like on the news, sort of a thing, right?
Right.
But you need to take every precaution because you live with this person. He breathes the same air. He's been sick around you. We assume you have it. So she doesn't know, whether she ever had it. The antibodies test is supposed to be a complete fucking failure as far as like knowing whether you had it or not. And then the other problem is there are all kinds of stories. There's like a dozen sailors now who had it, tested negative twice afterwards, totally cleared, tested positive again, got it again within a month or so.
Right.
So that blows up this whole theory of herd immunity or you getting some sort of immunity because you had it, which was misinformation that was out there. In the beginning, I'm like, you know what? I wish I would just get it.
The experts, the people that we rely on are telling this that's coming from the top down, and this is what we think. This is what we're led to believe. You know what I mean? Like
in the beginning, I was like, I'll just get it. I'll get it, and then I'll get past it, and then I'll be fine and whatever. And then I'll at least have the immunity. Now you don't even get that. So like,
right.
I don't know what to think. And I also don't know what to think about how this is going to work out when they try to, when you say stuff like, open up the country and go back to normal. I don't foresee that happening because how are you going to go to a, NBA game and sit shoulder to shoulder with 30,000 people in a place and somebody's coughing or hacking? How many times have you been out somewhere and someone's coughing and you're like, dude, cover your mouth or something just like that? Now it's way worse than that. Like you'd be like, what the fuck are you even doing here with the coughing and the shit?
Right. You just want to punch them.
Yeah, because it's inconsiderate. You're like, hey, but I mean, it is. It's inconsiderate. It's like, hey,
oh yeah,
you don't know who I'm going to come in contact with. Maybe I work at a nursing home. You're going to infect me. I'm going to go kill 40 people. Right. So like, all that stuff's a mess. And then like, think of the revenue that is generated, right? I go to a White Sox game. There's hundreds of people selling concessions there. There's more hundreds of people walking around selling beers and selling, cotton candy and all this other shit. There's hundreds and hundreds of security people. There's hundreds of people in the parking lot. There's, elevator attendants. There are tens of thousands of people for one baseball game making a paycheck.
Right.
None of those are going to make a paycheck anymore. Then there's also tens of thousands of people who paid for a ticket to a game. None of those are going to do that anymore. Like all this stuff is not going on. How do you ever get back to actual normal? Like I think the economy is going to come back pretty good because there's still a demand for things. People still have money in their pocket and stuff like that. But if a second wave hits in the fall that is reminiscent of the Spanish flu, and it is a motherfucker. The Spanish flu, I did some reading on it. The first wave, it was just like this. Bunch of people died, but it really wasn't that bad. Summer came, it totally kind of went away. But then that fall, 20 million people, they say 20 to 50 million people on the planet died from the Spanish flu in the second wave. Dude, if you look at the population of the planet back then, it was 2 billion people. There's 7 now. So times
7.8 billion.
Right. So there's 8. Say there's 8 billion versus 2 billion. That means you need to times the Spanish flu by 4.
Right.
If the mortality rate was the same.
That's 80 million.
No. That's 50 times 4, man. That's 200 million people. You know what I mean? If you had 2 billion people on the
right. I thought you said 20 million died.
Where 20 million died. Well, 20 to 50, they say.
Okay.
So,
all right.
100 years ago, they weren't so good at, fucking counting everybody and everything else.
Right.
So,
all right.
But anyways, so if that sort of thing happens in this second wave, I don't know what to fucking think. Like, people are gonna run out of shit. Like, you look at, you saw that meatpacking plant in the Dakotas?
Yes.
2,800 people work at the plant. 900 of them has tested positive.
Right. Okay. Well, here's my question on that. And
okay.
That's just, I like to, I'm a dark humor kind of guy. So, all right. So anything you cook, like you're cooking. What?
They interviewed a guy coming out of the meatpacking plant, and they're like, why don't you guys social distance? He said, you don't understand. We're working on a line where the food's coming down the line. Right. We're literally bumping shoulders while we're cutting and throwing shit off the line.
But you're going to cook. I mean, you're not going to eat a fucking pork chop raw, are you?
But you're not getting it. Well, okay, no, but that's not what anyone's saying. What I'm saying is.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. Hey.
No, you're not going to get it from that.
Right.
But if 900 people get it, that means 18 of them are going to die.
Oh, you were going after that statistic.
The company itself has to shut the place down because 900 people are sick with this thing. How do you keep coming to work? All you're going to keep doing is infecting the people that are working here.
What was that place in Ohio last week? I think 28 days. All the food processors in that plant in Ohio, they stayed in that plant for 28 days. Worked 20. You know what I mean? They did their shift.
Yes. They rotated. So they did. Hospitals do it too, where they do an A and a B team, and then so they all stay together where they don't separate.
Right.
And they run through.
And they didn't go see their families. I mean, I'm sure they FaceTimed them or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But because they didn't want to spread it if anybody had it and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
I look at that stuff like
I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
I think it's heroic. I think it's patriotic. I think it's heroic. Because, I mean, how many times in your...
A lot of affairs went on in there. I'm just joking.
Okay, probably. Right. But I mean, how many times in your life have you been in a situation where you couldn't get food?
Never.
No, not me, ever. Never.
Right. Never.
Never in my life could I not go get a pizza or go get a burger or, get food out of my refrigerator. Never in my life.
Right.
But if the meat processing plants all shut down, we will have that situation.
Oh yeah. Haven't you seen them guys down in Texas that are fucking bitching about this?
Yeah, no, the Texas and Iowa, all the hog operations and stuff like that, because hogs only go for so long and then they can't, they're going to kill them off.
Right. Fuck yeah.
I know. I get all that. But how can anybody feel like at this point, I think in the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to break 100,000 dead people.
Okay.
How is anyone saying this is a hoax anymore? And there's people saying it.
Who's saying it's a hoax?
I'll show you my news feed on fucking social media.
Okay, but I mean...
They have a discrepancy about every single thing. They have a discrepancy about that it's not actually this many people, that they're counting someone who dies of a heart attack. You've seen the memes that are like, guy in a car wreck dies of coronavirus.
Well,
Like,
hey, Brian Bilecki's friend died in hospice. I don't know if you saw that video that I did,
yeah.
but they marked him down as COVID-19, and he died of fucking cancer in that motherfucker.
Yeah, but would he have died of cancer? Okay, the guy
Okay,
that
okay, would he have died of cancer? Yes.
someday.
So the comorbidity here is now where we get into the gray issue.
Well, that wait,
It
that
lasted another 6
right.
months just with cancer and
Yes.
that's COVID-19. Okay.
Also talking about anecdotal. It's not evidence. Anecdotes are not evidence.
No,
So
right.
Brian says they were marked down as a COVID death, but Brian wasn't there in the room when someone marked him down.
No, I know, but I called my contacts at hospice, and they told.
But also, if you go on the CDC's website, there's 3 columns with COVID deaths. One column is just dying of COVID and nothing else, right?
Okay.
And then everything else is if you had some other underlying ailment or something like that, right?
Okay, so that's
So the buddy of mine who his dad got COVID and the mother, they said go home and quarantine yourself. He is a cancer survivor like 3 or 4 times now. Like he's some kind of like freak of nature. What's that?
I said, God bless him.
Oh, absolutely. I love the guy. I talk to him every time I see him. But what I'm saying is, if you have I would be considered somebody with an underlying ailment.
Yeah, I'm sure you. Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to die anytime soon. But if I died of COVID, I would die of COVID. Like it wouldn't be. Would I or no?
Well, I don't know.
What I'm saying to you is,
I know what you're saying. I mean,
no. If I got COVID-19,
train wreck, we call it COVID. That's what you're saying.
Right, and that's the.
I know.
Right.
You were spoofing the spoof, But
it's nonsense. That's not what's going on.
I know.
No one's writing that down that way, but there are people that believe that they are. There are people that believe, and it's another instance where they want to believe something, so they believe it. They believe that, okay, so if somebody codes as a COVID patient, they're getting more federal funding, the hospital is, than they would if you came in with a broken leg, right?
Right, I've heard that.
Right. But if you look at the fact checks on that, there has been absolutely no evidence anywhere that anyone could find that there's any foul play going on, that somebody is marking someone down for COVID that doesn't have COVID. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But the inference is that hospitals will get more money if you're a COVID patient. So you came in with a fucking broken arm, we're just going to write you down as a COVID patient. That's bullshit. That is insurance fraud. That's federal fraud. If you're the hospital, you're making enough money already. Why would you need to do that? Do you know what I'm saying? But they're inferring that that's what's going on. The minute you got caught, it would be the biggest news story out there was that, they were faking the COVID numbers.
Okay.
Now, if you watch Fox News, they'll say that the COVID numbers are inflated. If you watch Rush Limbaugh, and you do, he will say that the COVID numbers are inflated. Okay? But if you watch MSNBC, they'll tell you that the COVID numbers are underestimated.
Huh.
Now, I'll explain to you why they could be underestimated, because if you're pregnant and you don't get a pregnancy test, are you still pregnant?
Yeah.
Right. But you didn't get a pregnancy test.
I was going to try and be funny and say, well, maybe you're kind of pregnant because it's not proven.
You're just a little bit pregnant.
Yeah, just a little bit pregnant.
Just a little pregnant. I got a little bit of Down syndrome. So anyways, that's the problem, right? So Donald Trump is out there saying that we've done more tests than any other country.
Per capita.
No.
Per capita is what
we are ranked 19th.
I read.
We're ranked 19th per capita.
Okay.
We are nowhere near. He's not incorrect by saying we have tested more people, but we have 330 million people in this country.
Right.
You know how many people live in Sweden?
Oh, fucking, gosh damn it. I just fucking was looking at this yesterday. No, go ahead. It's,
10 million.
yeah, I was going to
10
say,
million people. Whole fucking country, 10 million fucking people in there. Do you know how many people live in Illinois?
I'm going to say, what is it, 7 million?
13.
Okay.
13 million people live in the state of Illinois. So the state of Illinois has 1.3 times as many, as many people as the entire country of Sweden does. Do you know what the square miles of Sweden is?
No.
160 million square miles, or
Okay.
160,000 square miles. Sweden. Square miles of Illinois,
Nope.
57,000 square miles. So they have 3 times the square miles. We have 1.3 times more people here than they have there. Okay, so we have 3 million more people that live in this state with a third of the space. So anybody that's comparing Sweden to Illinois is a moron, or they're deceptive. They're trying to make it sound like, and Illinois is not the most populated density. I mean, most of our country is wide fucking open, right? Like,
Right.
you go to central Illinois, you could drive for 5 minutes before you see another goddamn house. So,
Right.
But New Jersey, on the other hand, is fucking packed, man.
Yeah.
So on a people per square mile, Sweden has 62 people per square mile.
Okay.
New Jersey has 1,200. So this is the problem. When people say stuff like, why is it they make it political, and it's not. It has everything to do with population density.
Right. No, I understand that.
That's why the prisons and the submarines and the Navy ships have problems, because those guys are put in there like sardines and you can't get away from people. So you get this fucking thing. When you live in Nebraska or fucking North Dakota, you might not see anybody for fucking a little while. Like, how are you going to give
Unless
someone?
you're at the meat packing plant.
Then you're shoulder to shoulder. Then that's how it happens, right? So it's all about population density, and it just so happens that the states with the most population density, they're run by Democrats because they run the urban areas and stuff like that. Now, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican, so I don't believe that either party's got our best interest at hand. I don't.
Not right now. I mean, I'm
At any time. I think they have their wealthy donors to do their.
here's the thing. So on what you just said, let's just rationalize it this way. Like the people in Southern Illinois, less densely populated.
Sure.
What was it? A week and a half ago, Pritzker was talking all his fucking bullshit. Well, Chicago this, Chicago that. And all these people in Southern Illinois are like, look, motherfucker, why the fuck are you running the state like it's the state of Chicago? This is the state of Illinois. We are not, you know what I mean? There's 50,000 fucking feet between.
Right, but do you know what county is number 3 in COVID cases?
No.
Kankakee County.
Okay, well, that's not too far south. I mean, that's 45 minutes.
I'm in Kankakee County, just barely. But what I'm saying to you is the reason that it's number 3 is because we've got Kankakee, the town, and it's densely populated. So, but overall, the county is a rural county, right? So,
yeah,
it's similar. That the problem that you have with this situation is, what if I'm a person that lives in Chicago, I contract COVID-19, but then I go visit my cousin who lives in Tacoma, Illinois, right? We hang out for the weekend, we, roll around the yard, playing around, goofing around, everything else. I give my cousin COVID-19. He goes to church and gives it to everybody in the church. Then there's the town, which has, like a couple factories in it, and they all start to get it in those towns. All I'm saying is if it hits one of the more densely populated areas in a rural area, you're gonna have the same effect.
Right. But you know what, Bill? I mean, and this is my personal take on everything, because everybody now, oh my God, fucking Georgia's spiking and this and that. Well, hey, last month, or, Pritzker said, yeah, we'll be open by May 15th. We'll already be past the spike and everything will be fine. Well, wait a minute. Now the spike's going to be here. The spike's going to be there. Wait a minute. Now we got to wait for a vaccine. Well, hey, wait a minute.
Right. That's nonsense, right? That can't happen. Right.
Right. But now the thing is, hey, we already have a vaccine for the flu. I haven't had a vaccine, with the exception of a fucking tetanus shot, since I got out of the United States Marine Corps in 1994.
Okay.
All right. My sister's a nurse. She has to have the flu vaccine every year, blah, blah, blah. Well, every year she gets the flu. I'm not saying I don't get the flu, but I've not had the flu more than I have since 1994. I say this, and this is just my personal opinion, and everybody who's going to hear this can call me a fucking idiot or whatever.
Nah.
I say people are dying for social interaction. People want to get out without fear of retribution. The people that are really scared and really should not be out won't go out. Our elderly, we need to take care of the elderly and not put them in fucking nursing homes. Like in Joliet, they had that big breakout. What was it, 3 weeks ago? That was fucking insane.
You seen what those guys are doing? Like, I saw a video where they were all spitting in a cup and passing it, because if you get it, they're going to let you out of the prison, because they want to get you out of there. So, I mean, that's all a racket too. And they said some crazy amount of prisoners end up being asymptomatic. Like, they never get symptoms. It's like 87% of them or something.
Well, here's my take on that, if you want to hear that. Hey, they're already fucking in quarantine. What's the fucking problem? Why do you need to let them out?
Yeah, but because some of them, it's not a death sentence. It's a sentence to, what I'm saying is like, listen.
If you're in fucking Statesville prison.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, right. I don't think that's right. But they're not letting, like, even California, they're super liberal. They're not letting killers and rapists out. They're letting fucking no, they're not. They're letting everybody that's a non-violent crime out of there. They let Cohen out of there. Trump's lawyer, Trump's fixer. They let him out.
Well, I could care less about that.
Yeah, but who the fuck's he gonna harm?
Yeah.
I mean, he ain't gonna go rape anybody. He's got money. He's not gonna fucking do anything.
Right.
Like, why keep him in there? So they let him out, like, whatever it was, 6 months early, and they put him under house arrest. Fine, go home. Get the fuck out of here. I don't like the fact that I'm paying.
He's still in fucking quarantine, but the thing is, hey, if you're in fucking jail, you know what I mean? If you're in prison or the hooch cow or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you're already in quarantine. Why do you got to use this to let them out?
Yeah, but aren't you supposed to? I mean, okay, so there's a problem with our prison system in this country, and that's a whole other rabbit hole, a whole other podcast.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Aren't we supposed to be rehabilitating these people? Aren't we supposed to be trying to make them into productive pieces of society? Treating them like they're not worth anything is probably not helping that situation.
Okay, so it takes this fucking pandemic to release them from fucking jail?
Dude, this pandemic has shined a light on every single thing that's wrong with this country.
Right. And you're fucking right there, Bill. I'll tell you what, because all that Gavin Newsom out there in California, and I'm sure you've seen the videos over the past, before this started out, all the videos of the homeless in fucking San Francisco and LA and all that shit. Them motherfuckers, hey, yeah, we were going to build all this stuff for them people to live in, but now it costs too much money because the rich people are tired of paying all these fucking taxes, so they're moving to Texas, so all this shit's just sitting open. Now, over this fucking pandemic, yeah, we're going to make these hotels take these people in. Now all of a sudden you care about all these homeless motherfuckers? What the fuck happened?
I don't know. My problem with the
Tent
homeless
cities and
situation,
all that shit? What the fuck is that?
right? But my problem with the homeless situation is if you survey those people, it's like 7 out of 10 of them have some sort of a mental problem. 7 out of 10 of them choose to be on the street. There are programs that could get you off the street. They don't want to be off the street. They want to live on the street. Have you ever seen? There was like a movie that was made. It was like called Without a Trace or something like that, and it was a veteran who he went to Afghanistan and he developed like a situation where he had PTSD pretty bad, but he didn't trust the government. He didn't trust anyone to be watching him. So all he wanted to do was live off the grid. When he
Yeah.
came back, he's going to live off the grid. So like every time that they would corral him, and he had some mental problems, right? He had a daughter with him who was like 14 years old. Every time they would get him into a home with the daughter, he would hang out there until they weren't looking, and then he'd backpack it out of there, and they'd find him deep in the woods somewhere, right?
Right.
But like, there's a lot of, and for sure, if you're a homeless vet, you don't need to be a homeless vet. There are private programs and public programs that could put you into housing, put you into a situation where they could, just you're going to qualify for Section 8. As a realtor, you're going to qualify for a loan as a veteran. You know what I mean? You can get a VA loan, like super easy, best rate out there, all that kind of stuff. Some of these guys have been through some stuff that they can't cope with, and that's not being dealt with the way it should be. Like they need more counseling. They need more medication or whatever they got to do to get this situation under control. And it's not happening. So you've got guys that are living on the street. If you're a vet, especially a combat vet, there should be no reason why you're on the street. There's a program that you could get into that would get you into some sort of shelter. You know what I mean? You should not be living in a fucking tent. So,
Right.
but they'd rather do that because they feel like if I go live in that shelter, maybe there's some sort of shame to it, or maybe there's, the government's watching me because I'm living in government housing or something like that. I don't know. I had a woman on the podcast that her brother was in the army. Her brother was in the army. He had a mental break when he was in the army and lost it. Like he was running down the street naked. They put him into a home. He would tear all the electrical fixtures out looking for bugs, all the smoke detectors. He lost it. They were not, per what she said, the government was not doing a good enough job to take care of him. Like she was constantly leaving her post to go find him. They'd lose him. Like it was a complete fucking nightmare as far as
Right.
all that went. So that's a big problem. We have the ability to send these boys off to fucking countries to get blown up, to blow up other people, to do all this shit. But when they come home, we're not doing a good enough job taking care of their mental status that you've got a bunch of them living on the street. That should not be like that. You know what I mean?
No, I fully agree. But I mean, what I'm talking about is just the homeless in general. Now California, I mean, through this pandemic, hey, we're gonna take care of all these homeless people and this and that. What the fuck? They didn't give two shits about them before. Last fucking
No, but I mean,
sure as
we
fuck
shouldn't
didn't
have
give a fuck about them.
right, but we shouldn't have this many homeless people to begin with,
No,
especially in
we
California.
shouldn't.
But in California, it cost $800,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath fucking house to live there. So you've got people that are extremely wealthy living in California, and then you've got there's all kinds of wealthy people in this country that have more money than they could ever fathom having, that they could ever spend. But then you got people living on the street and not getting the mental health care. I think the mental health care thing is an issue that is going to bite us in the ass someday. I don't know, but look at the situation with the COVID thing also is shining a light on. We are a recipe for disaster because if I'm sick and I don't have insurance, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to take a day off. Say I'm a guy who mows yards or cleans hotel rooms, or I'm a janitor at the high school, and I
Right.
don't have great health care to begin with.
Right.
I don't want to take a day off work, lose that day's worth of pay. And I also don't want to spend $85 for a doctor's appointment so he can prescribe me another $120 worth of fucking pills to take.
Right.
For me, that screams, why don't we have a national health care program?
Well, I'm not sure if that's going to work, Bill.
It works everywhere else, Andy.
I don't, well, I don't know. Hang on. Because now, I know we've had this conversation before.
Absolutely. All I'm saying is, if you're an infectious person and you don't go to the doctor,
Right.
all you're going to do is infect more people. My concern isn't that we get a national health care program. My concern is that this country, okay, we have 4% of the planet's population. We have 30% of the COVID deaths.
Okay.
There's a useless stat that they throw around out there, and it's the stat of the amount of cases. That stat's useless because it's just like the pregnancy test.
Yeah, they don't know because not every single person is tested. That's what I told you about 2 months ago. I think we were talking.
Right. So that's a useless stat that they keep throwing around because it sounds like this big fantastic number, but that doesn't matter. But the death part of it does. Okay. And if you're in some of the problems that they're running into with the hospitals in New York and New Jersey is that the doctors can't stay in their lane. So like they were posting videos, the YouTube wackadoos were posting videos about hospitals that were 80% empty. Look at this hospital, it's 80% empty. Yeah, it's 80% empty because they're currently not allowed to do knee surgery. They're currently not allowed to do fucking eye surgery. They're currently not allowed to do all these other elective fucking things they're not allowed to do because they don't want them in the hospital getting infected. So if you've got a heart condition, they don't want you in the hospital because if you get COVID, you're probably going to die. So they're trying to cut out. There's a lot of doctors that have nothing to do with the ER. They have nothing to do with people that would come in with an infectious disease. There's people that are getting a fucking hangnail or a goddamn ingrown toenail removed. You can't have that done right now because the hospital in New Jersey's got way too many COVID patients. So there's hospitals that were empty because they said, we're not going to let you have elective surgeries right now. So if you've got a torn ACL and you can still walk on it, guess you're going to walk on that for a little while. You can have a little joint instability.
Yeah.
You're not getting surgery.
You're living with a lot of fucking pain.
Could be.
You know what I mean? Go somewhere else. That's what I do.
That's what I'm saying is that's not evidence that the COVID thing's not happening. Because
I never said it wasn't happening.
What's that? No. I know you didn't. But people were using that on YouTube as evidence that how can there be a pandemic when the hospital's 80% empty? Well, because that's not the part of the hospital that's usually got people that would have COVID in it. Do you know what I mean? It's the part of the hospital where you get a fucking leg amputated or you get, brain surgery done or you get fucking a stent put in your heart or whatever the fuck else you do. You're not in there for infectious disease. So none of that shit is evidence. That's just some bullshit that someone's putting out there. So, but the number that matters is deaths. Why is it that we have 4% of the world's population, but 30% of the deaths? It's because we're unhealthy, man. It's because we're fat, overweight.
Oh, well, fuck. Let's see. McDonald's, you know what I mean? McDonald's, all the fast food, blah, 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 all that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not, you know what I mean? Smoking.
Yeah, you should quit doing that, dude. You really should quit doing that. I mean,
I know. I will.
It's a fucking terrible fucking thing for you. I'm just saying they say being a smoker and this shit is not a good combo.
Oh, I know. That's what somebody told me. You're gonna die of fucking COVID-19. I said, you know what's funny is last fucking summer I told Alexis, you know, I'm gonna die of some stupid fucking disease. That's what I told her, and she laughed. She said, "You ain't dying, Dad."
Right. Well, hey, I'll be honest. I think like people want, you know, the way that your immune system works is if your body is constantly fighting something, your body gets stronger to fight shit. So
Right.
like as a guy, and I'm a dude in a wheelchair, I am never like I'm always touching my wheels or my something like that. I'm always touching my face, all this stuff. I have probably come in contact with every goddamn thing. My immune
You
system
ever
is
roll through dog shit with them wheels?
yeah, my immune system's a fucking killer. Well, so on a wheelchair, people think that I touch my wheels to push them around. That's not how it works. I have push bars on the side that I touch, but my wrists sometimes touch the wheel
Right.
and that's on the ground. So if I roll through a parking lot, somebody was hacking and coughing through there, and I rolled through their hack and cough, I'm going to get the microbes on my wrist. Then I come in and wipe my face on my sleeve. I'm going to fucking have that on me. So that's how your immune system gets tougher is fighting shit, right?
Right.
So the problem that's going on with this COVID thing, though, is we don't have a vaccination. We don't have a treatment. And then the other crazy one is we've got this president who says things like he's taking hydrochloroquine to prevent it. That's not how this works. That's not how it doesn't work that way. Hydrochloroquine.
I don't think he said it to take it to prevent it.
Yeah, he said exactly that. He said he's taking it to prevent it.
That's not the clip I saw. So
okay, well, he said that he was
like what 3 days ago or something. So I could be wrong, but
just let's put it into context then. Why would someone take it that's been tested doesn't have it if it wasn't to prevent it?
okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It seems like you're trying to prevent something that's not how it works. That's like drinking NyQuil to not get a cold. That doesn't work.
Oh, sure it does. Ask Tom Walsh. No, I'm just joking.
What I'm saying is you're treating the symptoms of it, and then they did that double-blind study, and it turns out that hydrochloroquine's more deadly, and the side effects are like it's not effective.
Well, I was just going to tell you about a good buddy of mine, and I'm going to tell you his name, John Owen.
Yes, yeah, but that's anecdotal. That doesn't.
No, this is not anecdotal because he came down with COVID-19.
It's still anecdotal. Anecdotal means
Short story.
No. It means that your friend had COVID. He took the hydrochloroquine and got better. That doesn't mean that he got better because he took it. It just means that it's the saying where you say correlation is not causation. So just because you're tying the two together doesn't mean anything. He could have stuck on a magic marble and then recovered, and we'd all have to stick magic marbles between our butt cheeks. That doesn't mean anything.
John was in the hospital with this COVID.
I understand.
And he said that they gave him.
Right. It's anecdotal. Right. That's anecdotal.
That's
not right, but that's anecdotal. That means that but they also gave him water and they also gave him food and they also did all kinds of other things. Why are you contributing him getting better to this one thing and not to all these other things? What I'm saying to you is if I had a friend.
So in the same context of you using the comorbidities, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this guy's got cancer, but he's also got COVID-19. So he would have lived 6 months longer, but since he's got the COVID-19, he died. So we're putting it down as a COVID-19 death. But okay, here's some guy who had COVID-19. We gave him the hydroxychloroquine, but we're not going to include that we also gave him food and water and saline and, you know, acetaminophen or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying?
There's no definitive way to prove that he wouldn't have gotten better without it.
Okay. And there's no definitive way to prove that this guy would have lived 6 months longer with his cancer without or with.
There's not. But here's the thing. If he wouldn't have had, so if someone said to you, okay, Andy, you have 6 months to live. And then someone said, but we could also, make it that you have 1 year to live. If you were alive and you could see people and have some sort of quality of life, wouldn't you rather have 6 more months than just not the 6 months?
Well, what do you mean?
I'm just saying that if he died 6 months earlier because he had COVID, didn't he die because he had COVID? I understand he was going to die. We're all going to die in that respect anyway.
I understand.
But I'm saying that he died now. So, then also, if you go on the CDC website, he's going to be in that other column where he had something else and COVID. He's not going to be listed as a purely COVID death, is what I'm saying. They have that information. They say that he had cancer. It's not a situation where they're going to be like, John was perfectly fucking healthy, walking around, playing soccer with the kids, got COVID, and died. That's not how he's going to be listed. He's going to be listed as somebody who had a terminal illness, but then died earlier than he should have because of this. And the way that the COVID thing works, and Trump has talked about it, these things attach themselves to the inside of your lungs and make it impossible for you to saturate oxygen into your blood system. Yes. So it kills you in a way where you feel like you're drowning. I guess it's supposed to be fucking awful.
Right.
But so all I'm saying is that guy would not have died when he died. But when the hydrochloroquine is a totally different thing. If I went in my garage and I polished up some marbles really good and I took it to my buddy who had cancer and I said, listen, I know the doctors are doing this and the doctors are doing that, but I'm pretty sure that if you take this magic marble, stick it up your butt cheeks, you're going to recover. And my friend is like, fuck it, man. I got nothing to lose. They're telling me I got terminal cancer. And he sleeps with the fucking marble up his butt cheeks for the next 6 months. And miraculously, his cancer goes into remission. Does it mean that the magic marble had anything to do with it? No, because correlation is not causation. So what I'm saying to you is your friend, it's very possibly could have recovered either way. You know what I mean? Like whether they took it or not. And then they did do a study where they gave like 6,000 people that had COVID hydrochloroquine, and they gave 6,000 people who had COVID-19 a placebo and told them that they were getting the COVID treatment. Out of the 6,000 people that actually got the hydrochloroquine, more died. 3% more died than died without the hydrochloroquine. So that's a double-blind study. That's a study that takes into consideration whether you have underlying conditions. It tries its very best to compare apples to apples, and it also takes a control group and says, these people think that they're getting hydrochloroquine, but they're not. They're getting a placebo. So that's a reliable way of saying, is this positive? And what they came up with is it's got a bad effect on your heart. It can cause a heart murmur. There's all kinds of side effects to that stuff that's not what they deemed it was, that it was not beneficial to the situation. But listen, there's a lot of people who think that Donald Trump has a 156 IQ. And there's nothing out there to substantiate that. Like, he has never been IQ tested. There's no way to prove that he's got a 156 IQ. There's also no way to prove that he doesn't have a 156 IQ, right? But I have watched him try to read things on camera. my educated guess is he doesn't have a 156 IQ. He looks like a guy giving a book report who didn't read the book.
Right. Okay.
I mean, just being honest, like if I'm watching him, he's reading things and he's always reading things and being like, huh, what do you think about that? Like he just found it out. And if there's something that he just found out, he's like, nobody knew this. No, Donald, you didn't know this.
Right.
Other people knew it because they wrote it in the thing you're reading. You just didn't know it. So like, they just had a thing out today that said if they would have shut things down, the country down the way we did 3 weeks earlier, 36,000 less people would have died.
Okay.
Because it's a situation where, remember the commercial for shampoo when we were kids that was, and she told a friend, and she told a friend, and then the screen gets bigger.
Yeah, it was
right?
Heather Locklear.
Was it? I don't know. I don't remember who was in the commercial.
Tommy Lee, one of Tommy Lee's wives.
Right. So, but then by the end of the commercial, it's 1,000 little tiny screens.
Yeah.
Of of all these people that she told. So if
the picture of the same broad, and they told two friends, and they told two. Yeah.
Right. And so, have you ever done the? If I gave you a penny on day 1 of a month and 30 days, and then on day 2 I gave you 2 pennies, and on day 3 I gave you 4 pennies, how much money would you have at the end of the month if I doubled your money, the money I gave you every day?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like $10 million
In a month.
It doesn't seem feasible, but we did the experiment, we worked it through, and it's that. Because once it starts to double and it's huge, it doubles like crazy fast. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So once you get to $100,000 and you double it, now you're at $400,000. You double that, now you just gave me another 400. Now I got 8. Like it doubles really, really fast. So yes, it's that fast. So if they would have reduced the amount of original cases in the country in the very beginning, it would have drastically reduced the amount of cases overall. My concern is anyone that's running around saying, I ain't gonna wear no damn mask is adding to the number of people we go into fall with that have it. And then we're all back in our houses. We're all back inside giving it to each other. And if what you said and I said earlier, that we both heard of people getting it twice, how the fuck does this not go off the rails?
Well, I don't know, Bill. I'm thinking, what about all these businesses that really are suffering? The mom and pop shops.
Okay. I'm a business owner, right? Forever. Like for
okay. No, it's fine. I know. And you understand this. Okay. So you and your boys are going out, making money, doing quality work.
Yep.
And that's fucking awesome. I respect you for that.
Right.
But like the mayor of Lockport said, he was on WJOL last week. I was listening to it.
I think I heard this, but yeah, go ahead.
But he was like, hey, they can go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards and buy their tile and their grout and this and that.
Right.
And I feel sad that I don't even know the name of the place that he mentioned in Lockport. But he said they can't go to, I'll just call it Steve's.
Yeah, mom and pop. Right.
Yeah,
they can't go to mom and pop.
They can't go to fucking Steve's carpet and tile store on State Street in Lockport that's been there for 56 fucking years.
Right.
And that place has got to close down for this.
Right.
Does that make any sense to you?
Okay.
It sure don't make any sense to me.
Well, it sort of does and sort of doesn't, okay?
Okay.
Because,
I want to hear your
so take. If you're talking about a carpet place, is it no, because that's kind of what it is all the time, right? Or a flooring place or something like that that's shut down. The problem with the Home Depot and I'm no big fan of those places. I use shillings.
I'm not either.
Right.
I'm a mom and pop kind of guy.
Me too. In fact, if I go on a trip somewhere, I am asking the locals, hey, where's the hole in the wall place that has the really good ribs or the really good burger, or the really good breakfast, because that's where I want to go. I want to go to Country Charm, not Denny's. You know what I mean? Sort of thing.
Exactly.
Right? So
Right.
I agree with you 100% there. There's a whole mess to this. Like, so the problem is that if you come home and you have a pipe that sprung a leak, you can
Okay.
go to Home Depot and you can get all the things you can get to fix that pipe, right? Now, that's a necessity. You have to fix that pipe or you'll have no water in your house, right? So that's a thing. It has to be open because I have to go get the torch, the solder, the flux, the sanding stuff, so I can cut this fucking pipe and fix it so that I'm going to do this myself. I'm not even going to call a plumber, but this has to get done. If my carpet is really old, do I have to get new carpeting right now?
No, but I think what the mayor of Lockport was saying that there's
I agree with them on that angle. What I'm saying to you is the reason that home. So I see this meme all the time, and it's like I want to like people don't think shit through, and then they share it. And to me, it's like fucking drives me nuts. So they're like, how come I can go to Walmart, I can go to fucking Target, but I can't go to Stephen Jenny's fucking general store? Well, okay, listen. I I don't know why you can't go to Stephen Jenny's general store. I don't even know if that part of the fucking meme is true. Because if you own a little grocery store, I would suspect Burkott's is open. Then you could fucking go to that goddamn store. So that may be just a fucking falsehood to begin with. And second, oh, the one that they always put out there is, why is it I can wait in line at Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, Walmart, and all those other places, but I can't wait in line to vote? Listen, first off, if you need food, that's a necessity that you have to go wait in line at those places. Secondly, you don't have to wait in line at any of those fucking places because I haven't waited in line at any of them. I'm running a construction company that's fucking, we've already done just since May, like fucking $50,000 worth of work. So we have bought and sold and built and done everything. You know what I've gotten really good at? Everything on my phone. I've gotten really good at going on the Lowe's website, finding every tool, sawzall blade, circular blade that I need. You know what? I buy 3 of them and I do curbside pickup. So I pull up to the curbside spot. It's already paid for with my Lowe's card. They come out with a cart. They throw it in the back of my van. I never get out. I never talk to them. Never fucking roll. We never come in contact. So if I've got COVID-19, guess who I'm protecting? The lady that works at the fucking lumber yard's not getting anything from me because we didn't come in contact.
right. So you don't check anything. You just, hey, fuck it. Throw it in the back and I'm off.
Throw it in the back and I'm off. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I have not had one thing that ever wasn't where it was supposed to be or I got charged.
Well, no, that's cool.
Right. They've been honest brokers.
I mean, hey, that's good. That's blind faith, and I'm glad you trust them.
What I'm saying to you is I've reduced my contact so I'm not contracting anything or giving it to anybody else. And I've proceeded to work just like I normally do doing these jobs because construction is considered essential. Real estate's considered essential.
Infrastructure.
What's right? Well, real estate's considered essential too, but I have ceased doing real estate that's not somebody that's looking for a house that needs to move into somewhere or something like that. Like I have people that are looking right now and I'm working with them. But if it's just somebody who's like, no, I'm sick of my place. I think I want to say, hey man, if you can wait.
Right.
Because you don't need to be in contact with people. I don't need to be in contact with you. And I can do that whole job without doing that. So, but let's go back to the meme that says, if you can do all this, why can't you stand in line in November to vote? Okay, first off, I've got to stand in line if I have to, and I don't have to, at Burkott's to get food, because it's food. You have to fucking have that. But I've ordered all my dry goods through Costco, and then they send them out UPS. So they send me a big-ass box full of fucking Cliff bars and granola bars and all that other shit. So my sons have snacks at work and everything else. I go to Meijer's website and I get a $300 worth of eggs and milk and bread and all that shit. And it gets delivered here by a guy who shows up, puts it in my garage and walks away. And I say, thanks. And I tip him $10. And then we've got a refrigerator full of food. I didn't come in contact with anyone then either. We talked about this at the beginning of the podcast.
Right.
So the memes are already bullshit because I never stood in line anywhere and I got all that done. And secondly, why can't we mail in our vote when you're constitutionally guaranteed an absentee ballot if you want it anyway? There's no difference between mail-in voting and absentee ballots. There is none.
Right.
There was an article that was out there that was making fun of the people that were saying dumb shit like this. Well, an absentee ballot is filled out with ink and a pencil, where a mail-in ballot is filled out with graphite or a pen. It's the same fucking thing. There ain't no goddamn difference. What I'm saying is, what's the fucking difference? There's no difference. The actual president votes by mail. So what's the problem with voting by mail? This theory that there is in-person voter fraud has been debunked. Trump put together a task force when he first got into the office because he was positive that 5 million fucking illegals voted in the election. So he took the guy who's from Kansas and he said, listen, you're in charge, put together a task force, find me voter fraud. 4 months later, they shut it down. They found no voter fraud.
Okay.
In-person voter fraud. Because what you're saying essentially is, and it's like, again, it's the mental gymnastics. You're saying somebody who's here in this country, no, not you.
Okay.
Right. I'm saying someone that's saying this is saying that you're here illegally in this country. If you accidentally run somebody over, they will deport you. They will send you back to your country because you fucking killed somebody, right? If you get drunk driving and you're an illegal alien, you're getting the fuck out of here. You're leaving. You're going to be fucking deported and sent back where the fuck you're supposed to be because you just fucking fucked up. You're going to risk that being sent back, sent away from your family, all this shit, so you could cast one vote in 130 million votes. It fucking makes no sense. There's no goddamn leverage. One vote is never going to fucking change a goddamn thing to begin with, even if all of your fucking friends did. Even if 2 million people would have fucking voted the other way, it still wouldn't have changed anything because you'd have to have the millions of people in the right spot. So you're going to take this huge risk to fraudulently vote and get kicked out of the country because you wanted, it's nonsense. That's why it doesn't exist. Most people that take the time out of their day, which is not a holiday and it should be, to vote, it should be a day off. You should vote. You fucking do it on a Saturday or Sunday. I don't give a shit. But it's your civic duty. I've voted for election after election now.
I've voted every time since I was legal.
But I wouldn't say I did it when I was like 18, 19. But my boys will vote. They're 18 right now for this November election. They'll vote. And I mean, I'm not telling them who to vote for or anything like that. But what I'm saying to you is most people that take the time out of their day to do that are upstanding citizens. That's why they're doing their civic duty. It
is a civic duty. You must vote.
Right. So, but nobody is doing it like, let's all get together and fuck up this election. That's a bunch of bullshit. And if they did, so you're saying that you voted. How do you vote? When you vote, what's the process?
As far as what? I mean, like.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you my process, and you tell me if your process is the same. I live here. They send me my voter registration card in the mail, and It says where my polling place is.
Yes.
So this is where I must go to vote, right?
Yes.
So it's the village hall here in town. I go there, I get out, wheel my ass in there. They ask me my name. I tell them my name. She files through there. Here you go. Hands me my pre-printed ballot with my name on it.
Yes.
I go to the ballot box. I fill it out, or I can sit at a table if I don't mind someone looking over my shoulder and seeing who I'm voting for. And I can fill out my ballot. Then I feed it into the machine, and I leave. They give me my fucking sticker, and I'm gone. Yeah. That's how I vote. Is yours similar?
Mine's the Shiloh Church on on Oak Street.
So your situation is similar. That you
Oh,
walk in, what's your name, and they hand you your ballot, correct? Explain to me how I fraudulently vote now.
What?
And can I go into your, first off, I have to know your name, your polling place. I don't know your polling place. You just told me now, but I don't know it. Can I go in there and vote for you?
Yeah, you could write me in.
No, I can't write you in. What I'm saying is, right, a funny guy. But what I'm saying to you is, if you would have gone in, say you would have gone in at 9 a.m. to vote.
Chuckle out of that, Bill. I'm sorry.
If you would have gone in at 9 a.m. to vote, right? And I didn't know you voted already, right?
Yeah.
And I go in at 10 o'clock and I say, I'm Andy Liker. Can I get my ballot? They're going to flip through and they're going to go, wait a minute. Andy was already here and he voted. There's a problem. Stay right there. They're going to be like, hey, you have ID? Because we think somebody voted for you, Andy. So they're assuming that I'm being honest. Then I don't have ID that says I'm Andy. Guess what? I'm going to jail. It's a $15,000 fine.
Well, in this state, they don't enforce fucking half the shit that they should.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
It's very difficult to do what we're saying to do, and then to do it one time. How am I affecting the election? Even if I did it, say somehow on that Tuesday, I was able to do it 20 times in 20 different polling places, because I can't walk out the door and walk back in and say, all right, now I'm George Jones. Then walk back out and walk back in and be like, I'm Andy Liker. Walk back out, walk back in and go, Bill Geigner. None of that's going to work, because they're going to be like, you were just in here a minute ago. What the fuck are you talking about? You're going to go to jail. So in-person voter fraud is so preposterous, and to watch people claim that it's rampant, that it's this thing, that's a real thing that affects elections, it honestly makes them look stupid, or it makes them look like someone who's never voted. If you never voted and in your mind you think, I just go into a polling place where it says vote here and then I just can vote, like write a thing on a ballot, stick it in a box. That's not how it works. I have a ballot that's already, when I register to vote, pre-printed, ready for me to go.
Right.
It is almost impossible to do what they're saying they think is being done. And then they think it's being done by illegal aliens who look like illegal aliens to begin with. And you don't have a ballot. So if a guy walks into my fucking polling place and he's an Indian guy that should not be here, but he's like, I'm going to fuck up this election. My name is Bill Geigner. The fucking lady there is going to go, you don't look like Bill Geigner. Right? You look like a boo.
Yeah, I was just going to say that from The Simpsons.
Right. So what I'm saying is, it's a preposterous fucking thought. But Andy, I know that you have seen it on social media too.
Oh, yeah.
People the President of the United States believed that 5 million people, 5 million illegal aliens took that chance. It's fucking preposterous. It's a completely preposterous fucking thing. Now, what could be real is, and it's really hard to do this too, though, because my aunt volunteers at the polling place.
Okay.
They always volunteer an equal amount of Republicans and Democrats. Now, I'm a guy who's a progressive, but you'll never catch me saying I'm a Democrat. You'll never catch me saying I'm a Republican. That's two fucking parties that I can fucking totally do without. I don't give a shit about either of those fucking parties. And I'm telling you, they don't give a shit about me either. All they give a fuck about is staying in power, winning that fucking election. I don't give a fuck about any of that. You know what I want to hear? What's your fucking idea? I voted for George W. Bush because I thought he had better ideas than Gore. That's what I did. Didn't fucking care. Turned out he's fucking an idiot, and that was a big mistake. Just saying. So I voted for Obama because I thought he was going to change things. I was fucking let down. He didn't change what I thought he would change. He sold out, in my opinion.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was let down. Now, Would I have voted for McCain instead? No, probably not.
No.
I like the other guy better, so I voted that way. I'm one fucking person in a country of 300 and some odd million fucking people. It's not that big of a fucking deal. We live in Illinois. I feel sorry for people that are Republicans live in Illinois. You're not going to win a fucking election, guys. Like, it's just not going to happen. Donald Trump has zero chance of winning Illinois. It's not going to happen.
Oh, no. But I know that a lot of the people that I know, you know what I mean? That's the way they're gonna vote, but he's not gonna win Illinois. It's controlled by fucking, oh, there's Dash.
Yeah, get my cat. Right.
Yeah. But
my cat's my daughter's freaking cat, but I got a cat. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly it. I got 2 cats. Well, I don't have 2 cats. My daughter has 2 cats.
Right.
But yeah, hey, the state is fucking owned by Cook County and down by East St. Louis, and that's it. Most of the downstate Democrats that I know, they're more conservative than the upstate fucking liberals up here.
Could be, but so let's define that a little bit. You consider yourself a conservative.
Well, I consider myself a libertarian, but I lean toward the conservative for the fact that the way I was brought up was, I guess, the best.
You don't like black people. I got it. I know.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? We hang dollars from the tree. No.
Right.
No, the way I was brought up is, hey, kid, you can't spend more money than you take in. So
you shouldn't vote at all then, because they all do that.
No, right. But the way I look at it is, man, I can go off on about 7 different tangents right here, Bill, and I'm trying to make one the most relevant.
There you go. It's good.
All right. So my father told me a story about him asking his father to take him for his first car. Okay. Now this was when I was, hey, Dad, I'm going to go buy my first car, blah, blah, blah. My dad sat me down at the table. Said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, Pa told me. I said, hey, Pa, I want to go buy a car. He said, I might need you to co-sign. Okay, son, I'll go with you. He said, my dad's like, I'm looking at all these brand new 57 Chevys and this and that and blah, blah, blah. He said, my dad smacked me in the head and said, hey, boy, how much money you got? I said, well, I got like $1,100, which back, in them days.
Buy a nice car.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's like, my dad smacked me in the head and said, hey, come on, we got to go back here. This is the car you need. I buy some fucking junk piece. My dad made me buy some junk piece of shit. Blah, blah, blah. I had to work on it and do all this and do all that and learn all that. He said, so what do you want to buy? I said, well, I like them Ford, I think they were the Ford Tempos, what I liked at that time. I was in the Marine Corps. He said, all right, so how much is the car? I don't remember how much the car was, but well, Dad, the car payment's going to be $260. Insurance is, $137 every 3 months. Blah, blah, blah. And he said, okay, well, think about it, kid. How much do you make every 2 weeks in the Marine Corps? Or when do you get paid? I said, every 2 weeks. How much you get paid? I'm like, $297. My dad's like, all right, pulls out the pen, blah, blah, blah. He says, all right, so at the end of the month, you got $5 to yourself.
Right.
You'll be able to go out and get some pussy on that $5 a month?
And you're paying for a car.
I said, no. He said, that car ain't worth not getting any fucking pussy.
Sure, right.
Throw that fucking dream away. You know what I mean?
Right, and you were buying the car to get some pussy anyway because you're having a hard time. I know.
Yeah, Never had a hard time with that. Well, once I did, but that's okay. She came around the second time. No, I'm just joking. But, that's, you can't spend more than you take in.
Yeah, but that's
you always got to have something for a rainy day.
right. But
Just a little
conservatives
bit.
have been
Even
that
if,
way since Barry Goldwater. So I mean, they've all spent more money. They've all run us into debt. George W. Bush was terrible at running us into debt. Trump is the worst. Trump has been the worst, and that's before this COVID situation. Right now, if you're an actual, so that's why I won't call true Trump supporters that are like Donald Trump. They're ready to join the cult, cut their balls off, and wait for the comment. Whatever the fuck they're ready to do. This guy was running a $1.2 trillion deficit in an awesome time economically. Unemployment was super low. Everybody's paying taxes, and you're running a $1.2 trillion deficit. This COVID thing hits. Mnuchin just goes, doesn't matter. We can just print more money. Are you out of your fucking mind?
I know. I was fucking
They literally were they're throwing trillions around like it's fucking nickels. They're like trillions. That's not even a real fucking number. I'm sorry, people, but $1 trillion is not a thing. Like, I know it's a thing, but like, it's not a thing. Fucking $1 million is a fucking fabulous amount of money. $1 billion is a fucking stupid amount of money, and $1 trillion just should never fucking happen.
Well, that can go up to the moon, damn near stacked one on top of the other, can it?
I don't even know, but that's the problem with people too. They can't do math. If you looked at a visual representation of $1 million, it
Right.
like fits in a fucking wheelbarrow or something like that. And then you looked at the visual representation, it's a dump truck for a fucking $1 billion. It's a massive amount more than $1 million is.
Insane.
And $1 trillion is 1,000 billion. So like saying that you're a conservative because they don't spend money, it's not historically true.
No, I understand that. But I'm saying the reason why I consider myself conservative, but like I said, I'm more of a libertarian.
Right. I have some libertarian feelings myself. Like, I think that I certainly, we live in a different generation, right? Our parents lived in a generation where if you got caught doing a certain sex act, you could go to jail.
Right.
I was always like, are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me that the government can tell you what you can do in bed with another person.
Right. But, hey, my dad used to fucking bitch about, hey, there was a law in Joliet. You spit on the sidewalk, you go to jail. Because back in the day, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, women still wore long dresses. Women with two-piece bikinis, they were considered fucking whores.
Right, sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, times change,
Absolutely, absolutely, right. But that's where I'm liberal, right? Like, I don't care how you want to dress. I don't care who you want to have sex with. I don't care about any of that stuff. That's not my hang up. I don't care. But I definitely don't think the government should say anything about that at all. Like, I don't think that the government should tell you who you can be in love with, who you can marry, none of that shit.
Bill, I fully agree with it.
Right. So
I fully agree with that.
But I also do think that the government can tell you who you can't discriminate against. So like the bakery guy in Indiana, I disagree. I think that's a slippery slope. I think if you're a baker and you say, I don't want to make a cake for a gay couple, their money is the same. And I don't think the government should step in and do anything to the guy, but I think that he should be land-based in a way that you go out of business, because that's not the way to run a business. You run a business by providing a fucking service to people for money. It's, by definition, it's business. It's like saying that, I can't do this job because morally I feel bad about this, or I feel bad about my religion or whatever like that. Listen, if you choose not to work on Sunday, that's your choice. But you're on a slippery slope when you say, I won't serve you because of your sexual preference. Because what's the difference in saying that or saying, I won't serve you because of your color?
Okay, so and like when we talked about in our podcast where I didn't get served a beer because I was a
Correct.
punk.
Right. It was wrong that
You
way
know,
too. That's
well,
all wrong. That's wrong.
so if everybody's money is green, who gives a fuck?
Listen, if that baker said, I'm going to bake you a cake because I won't discriminate, I'm not a shitty person, but the entire time that you're dealing with me, I'm going to keep reciting scripture to you because I'm trying to be just like Jesus, not hate the sin, but not hate the sinner, but hate the sin. So
Right.
I'm going to try and convert you while we're doing this the entire time. I'll tell you what, gay people would refrain from coming there because they don't want to hear that shit. So that's fine if you want to do that. But you can't say, I'm not going to serve you on the basis of your sexual preference.
All right. Well, let's just let's go back to the fucking catch-all phrase. Any bar that you walk into, there's a sign there that says, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone.
Yes, but that's still
And that right there.
You can't get away with discrimination, though. You can still get
What do you
sued.
mean? That is the catch-all phrase. If I walked into a gun shop and they say there is a sign right there that says we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Hey,
Andy,
they don't like a guy who.
no, it's incorrect though. If they had that sign there and they found out that every black person that they sent in there, they wouldn't sell them a gun because they're black, you would get, there's anti-discrimination laws.
Well, I understand that.
Than people for that.
I'm just saying, where do you draw the line? I was on the side of that baker, not because I'm against gay rights or anything like that, but everything came out against those people's religious rights, First Amendment rights.
But like I said, it's
I go into a Muslim bakery and say, hey, give me, I want a big old cross on my wedding cake and this and that.
Well, I'm pretty sure that
about it, but still.
No, I'm pretty sure that if you went into a bakery that was run by a Muslim and you said you wanted a cross on your cake, he would make you that cake. I don't understand why he wouldn't.
There'd probably be a bomb in it.
No.
Come on, man.
But if you went into a deli that was run by a Muslim person and you said, I want a bacon sandwich, and he said, we don't serve bacon in here, that's his prerogative. He can choose what's on the menu, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying to you is that baker in Indiana said, I will not serve people of this sexual preference. So he made a distinction saying, I will not make your cake because you are gay.
Right. All right. So now this is the case we're talking about like 4 or 5 years ago, right? Is this still the same one? Because I haven't watched the news or nothing.
A visual picture of him. He's got a blondish mustache. He's white dude.
Yeah, he's a Hitler-looking motherfucker, right?
He's a little Aryan racy looking, but
I'm just teasing you. No, but hey, because that's his religious beliefs. So what's wrong with that?
If they were asking
the Muslims get away with all that stuff, the Jews get away with all that stuff, and I'm not slamming any of them. I'm just saying, all them, every other religious belief in this country, except for Christians, get away with whatever the fuck they want. And
you're saying that, like
you know it. You're smart.
Right, but you're not citing a case, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is,
I'm talking about the case that.
Yeah, but how is it different for him to say he won't serve this gay couple from him saying I won't serve this Mexican or black couple? I don't know how it's different. How is it different that if you're saying I don't care who you are, Listen, if the gay couple came in and said, listen, I want fucking cocks. I want cocks all over this fucking cake. Then the guy said, well, I'm not doing that. That would be his prerogative. He could claim like artistic license, right? I don't want to make a cock cake, so I'm not going to do that.
Funny.
But they just wanted a regular fucking cake, and he said, I will not serve you this cake because you are gay. I feel that that's where
all we got here is cock and cake, and I'm fresh out of cake.
Right. I just want the cock cake. And you don't want to do that. That's artistic license. You could say, no, that's not what I don't serve cock cake here. We don't have the cock cake. Right. So I get that. But for him to say, I won't do it because you are homosexual, and I, like I said, I'm a libertarian guy too, in respect of like, I don't think the government should tell me what I can do with my business if it doesn't harm anybody. Now, can I sell cake that's got fucking cyanide in it? No, because they're fucking people are gonna die.
Right.
That's harmful to. But a true libertarian would say, well, he'll just go out of business because his cakes are poisonous.
Right.
Listen, you're still harming the general public, and you can't do that. So you can't have that business without going to jail.
Right.
So, the only point I'm making is that if you're going to discriminate, make discrimination okay, how come it's okay to discriminate against homosexuals but not Muslims or not black people or not Mexicans?
Right. No, I know. Go on. Hold on.
No, I'm just saying it's not okay. So that in my book, that just, and that, like, I think that the market should take care of that guy. But what happened really was a bunch of conservatives decided that they were going to shower this guy with support because he hates gay people. And that's nonsense too.
Well, I don't think that it's because he hates gay people.
Well, look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A turned out that they donate a bunch of money to a bunch of shitty causes that try and pray away the gay or convert gay people into heterosexual people. And gay people found out about that and said, hey, we're not going to buy Chick-fil-A because you're a shitty person and you're trying to convert people. You like women, and we've had talks about that, and I like women. I could not be so everybody's got a price, right? Somebody could have your daughter at gunpoint and say, listen, either you suck a dick or we're going to shoot Alexis.
Right.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, suck that fucking dick, save your daughter. That's how it's going to go, right? So everyone's got a price.
I'd be killing them people afterwards.
Yeah, right. But if they made you suck a dick, does that make you a gay person?
No.
Here's
the story. I mean, if we're going to keep on about this.
No. What I'm saying to you is somebody can make you do a homosexual act, but they can't actually make you like it. They can't make you actually want to do it.
Right. I understand that, hey, everybody's different. I don't have nothing against homosexuals or lesbians or anything like that.
Right.
The only thing I'm saying here is that the gay couple that wanted their cake made,
yeah,
and that guy or that bakery, that little mom and pop shop, said, no, that goes against our Christian values. That is what made this a big fucking deal.
Yes, but you'd have to show me in the Bible where it says gay marriage shouldn't happen. Doesn't say it anywhere in the Bible.
Okay.
Just saying, if they had a precedent where in the Bible Jesus says, and people that are homosexual can never marry each other, then I could see this guy saying that. The Bible refers to homosexual acts. Like right. A man should not lie with another man.
Right.
It says nothing about gay marriage.
He just said it went against his Christian beliefs.
But the wedding doesn't. Their sexual activity does. How many people do you know that are married that have no sex?
Fuck, I don't know.
I'm sure there's lots of people that are married that have no sex. There's people that are in their 90s that are married. There's no sex. So what he's against is the marriage part, because that's what he's producing the cake for. If they said, listen, we want you to make me a smash cake so I can smash it between my fucking butt cheeks and my fucking boyfriend can. So then we're saying, well, that's something that's a homosexual act. And you could say in the Bible, it says you shouldn't do that. But getting married is a conservative act. Think about that. You've got a gay couple who would be in a lifestyle that may be promiscuous, where you have multiple partners, and now you've decided.
Now that's presumptuous, Bill.
No. You could be in a heterosexual relationship, or person that does the same thing.
Right.
What I'm saying to you is, this gay couple decided that they were going to be monogamous. They decided that they were going to be more of an upstanding citizen by getting married, being stable, all these other things. What the act that they're doing is actually a good thing, not a bad thing for society.
Right.
So, but that, it's really here or there. It's not an issue. I wouldn't die on that hill. Indiana said he can do whatever the fuck he wants to do, so he's going to do whatever he wants to do. But don't try and convince me later on that the guy's not a bigot, because he probably mostly is. Like, that's just how I feel about the guy.
Well, okay. Well,
right. My personal opinion. That's all it is.
Right.
I don't know the guy from anybody, but his actions to me.
I mean, that story's fucking 4 years old. Did it just come back up in the headlines or something, or what?
No. But it's
that was stuck in the back of your.
No. It's a libertarian hot button, because if you're a libertarian, I know libertarians that say that you could discriminate on color.
See, I don't, I wish, me personally, I wish this whole fucking racism bullshit would just fucking die. You know what I mean? If I could fucking, I'll tell you what, Bill, I swear to God, if I could get up on top of my roof right now and jump off head first and hit the fucking asphalt and kill myself, and this racism bullshit would be over, I would do it.
Yeah, but you have to.
I hate this fucking racism bullshit.
I hate when liberals claim everything is racism. I can't stand that.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it either way.
Well, yeah, but okay. So my sons, and I've told this on the story on the podcast before, when they were freshmen in high school, they went to Thornton High School to wrestle. When they got done wrestling, they're like, with the season, they were like, Dad, why is it that these black schools are so shitty, and the showers don't work, and the locker rooms are disgusting, and the school's falling apart and everything else? I'm like, well, son, your schools are paid for off your property taxes. So if the property values are shit in that neighborhood, the taxes are shit, then the school is shit, because that's how it goes. So then you don't get a good education out of there. And then that's systemic. That goes on for the rest of your life. Then you go to college. You're trying to do the right thing. You go to college. You don't know shit because your education sucked to begin with. You bomb out of college. The only job you can get is wiping asses that makes $9 an hour. So racism would have to be stopped from the word go, not just stop hating on black people. It has to be, listen, I'm not looking for equal outcome, but I'm looking for equal opportunity. And we went to Lincoln Way. As a real estate broker, that is a top 50 school in the country. So we were given every advantage, right? And I mean, you could take the racism out of it. I have friends that their kids go to Peatone. They love Peatone. Small town, wonderful atmosphere. Their kid could be a subpar athlete, still get on the football field, because, it's going to be 20 kids on the whole team. So you're going to see the field, right? If you're a subpar football player at Lincoln Way, there's 75 kids. You're never going to see the field. You're just going to go there and root on for the rest of the team and all this other stuff. But my sons took 2 years of German. My boys were in AP Physics, AP Calculus. Those are not classes that are available. You can't take Latin in Peatone. It's not an available thing. So when my sons go off to college and they've had AP calculus and AP physics, and the kid shows up, that white kid from Peatone shows up at that college, and they start talking about something that my boys can fully grasp because they've already had the class, this guy might quit college because he's like, it's too fucking hard. I can't do it.
Hey, maybe your boys could help him out and fucking tutor.
For sure. But what I'm saying to you is because of the property tax thing, the school doesn't have as much money because Frankfurt, New Lenox, and Mokina's property taxes are higher.
Oh, yeah.
Even more revenue. So it's not, what I'm saying is, if you want to get rid of racism, you have to make at least the jumping off point needs to be somewhat equal. So the education part, the fact that your parents can get a good job, the fact that, you know what, they have done studies that kids that are hungry do worse on tests than kids that aren't hungry. So if you're dealing, when this COVID thing happened, another thing that it shined a light on, when they shut the schools down, they were like, oh shit.
Right.
There was a whole mess of these kids that are meal dependent on getting breakfast, lunch, and a snack from school. Now that they're home and their mom is someone who wipes asses in the city at a hospital, she's not home to feed them. She don't have any money to feed them. What are we going to do? They had to put together programs where these kids could show up and get a bag lunch.
No, I understand that.
If anyone in any way can say that somehow that's equal to my sons who have just been eating, lifting weights and everything else since this thing shut down, it's been great for them. We got high-speed internet in the house. They could do all their e-learning. Everything was a fucking breeze for them because they had all this shit. If I lived in an area where it wasn't available, it wouldn't be fair. It's not, like I said, I'm not looking for equal outcome. I don't think that many people know that, very many people that work as hard as I do, right? I mean, this is my side hustle, the whole podcast thing. I enjoy this. Someday I'll make money at this, right?
I hope so.
A thing, right? But I was up at 5:15 this morning. Tomorrow morning I got to get up at the same time. It's 11:15. So technically I'm still working, right? I work constantly and I take care of a quadriplegic dude in a wheelchair while I do all this. And then I coach wrestling and I do. So I'm all about working hard. I instill that in my sons. Work hard. People will respect you for that.
Yes.
I don't in any way, shape, or form want a free ride for anybody. That's not what I'm after. But I can fully understand that if you never got a good education, you never got a fucking break in your life, how you end up in a situation where you're on welfare. I get it. That's another conversation that I'd like to have with you. We talked about UBI, about universal basic income.
Yeah.
I think in our lifetime, that's going to become a reality. It's not something at first that I thought was a good idea, but I'll put it to you like this. Our welfare system is a ceiling. Once you get to the ceiling in that welfare system, you can't make any more money because you lose benefits.
Exactly.
UBI would be a floor. So you can't sink below this. But if you're I think we talked about this. If you're the manager at Burger King or you're a fry flipper at Burger King and you make $20,000 a year, right? Which that ain't shit. If you work 40 hours a week and you make $500 a week, or I'm sorry, $400 a week for 52 weeks, that's 20 grand, right?
Right. Correct.
You can't survive on that.
No.
That's below the poverty.
Taxes are taken out and all that kind of shit.
Right. That's below the poverty level. So you qualify for welfare in that situation, right? You qualify for Medicare. You qualify for Section 8 housing. You qualify for all this stuff. You qualify for food stamps if you have children. So you make $20,000 a year. You're doing your damn bestest job that you can do flipping them fries. And they're like, you know what, Samantha, you always come to work on time. You never show up late. You always work hard. We want to put you in the managerial program. You're going to make $25,000 a year. That is a 25% raise. Who the fuck ever heard of that, right?
Right.
Samantha has to turn it down. She can't take a 25% raise because she'll make $25,000 and lose $12,000 worth of benefits that are keeping her afloat.
Right.
That's why the welfare program that we have in this country is a fucking trap, because she's just like, no, I can't. I'll turn that down. UBI, on the other hand, would be she gets $12,000 a year, just gets that. Everybody that works gets it too. She gets that floor. When she's making 20 grand at Burger King and she's doing her job, doing a great job, and they say, we're going to pay you 5 grand more, she's like, absolutely. In fact, I want to get to a point where I'm not the assistant manager. I'm the manager, and I make $36,000 a year. And then, I'm off and running. Maybe I can go to night school. Maybe I can get an accounting job. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're the person that's trying your best, but you've been dealt the shitty hand to begin with, you can overcome things with the UBI. With welfare, you can't. You're stopped.
Right, but hey.
You got cat problems?
Yeah, I got the window open and she was just trying to scratch the screen.
Right.
She tries to get by me every once in a while. But no, the UBI, I mean, I'm not, okay, so I make anywhere between 60 and 80 grand a year. I'm not hurting by any means.
Okay.
So am I going to get that extra 12,000 a year?
Yes.
See, I don't agree with that because I don't need it. Why can't I give that to my mother who's, 78 years old?
You're more than willing, you're more than free to do that. I don't see why you couldn't. Why can't you just go buy your mom groceries or take care of your mom? Do what you want to do with money.
Right.
No, I'm saying to you this. You know what? You know when you can't get that money? When you make $200,000 a year.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Well, what I'm saying is the way I was raised, you make what you earn, don't live beyond your means, and you will be fine. Okay?
Makes all the sense in the world.
Now, why should because somebody's got to pay for all the UBI, correct?
The gang had his plan for it, and it was really just he was taking a small, like, $1 or $2 transaction fee that was getting charged to Amazon or to Wayfair or to whoever, whatever company you're buying something off the internet from, it was getting charged to that company. These companies, the way you had it set up, I can't wrap my brain around why anybody supports a system that lets one person have $160 billion, but has people that are in those situations trying to work, trying to get somewhere, and they can't get somewhere. And then they can't be, all they want to do is become a more productive part of society, and they can't. If you've got 2 kids and you qualify for food stamps and Section 8 housing, but you take a $5,000 raise, you will not be able to feed those children.
Okay.
So all you're trying to do is get ahead, and this is literally stopping you from doing that. It is in a sense keeping you a slave to this system. So, all I'm saying is, first off, the welfare system we have has to go, because the recidivism is terrible. People stay on it it wasn't meant for you to stay on it. But if you look at it for what it really is, it's designed almost for you to stay on it. So reverse it and turn it around. Make it that you get off of it in some way. Listen, what's the Will Smith movie where he becomes the stockbroker? Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
Okay?
Great movie.
If that guy would have had UBI instead of a welfare system, he wouldn't have been trying to get him and his son into a shelter. He would have had the basic bottom where he couldn't bottom out at. He would have had $1,000 a month coming in on that thing. And the only thing it's going to harm is somebody who's making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. I have no issue with that if it creates a bottom. Creating a bottom or a floor for society is a good thing for society. Listen, we sell things. I sell homes to people who have good jobs who can afford homes. I sell construction jobs to people who have good jobs who can afford construction jobs. So if there's more people who have good jobs that can afford those jobs, I'm going to get more jobs. Maybe I could get myself into a position where I make $200,000 a year, and guess what? I can afford not to get that $12,000 a year because I'm blessed enough, or blessed, I don't even believe in God, but I'm gifted and I've worked hard enough that I believe that I can get $200,000 a year. Dude, $200,000 a year is a fucking fantastic living. You're talking about every time Friday rolls around, there's $4,000 sitting there.
Right.
Friday, 4 grand. Friday, 4 grand. We're in our late 40s. Friday comes really fast all the fucking time, man. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I can't believe it's fucking Friday already. Holy shit. So
Fuck,
that's $200,000.
today, man. I'll tell you.
What's that?
I said it didn't come fast enough today.
No. Well, but what I'm saying to you is that's $200,000. Now make it $2 million.
Right.
That means $40,000. 40 grand is there every Friday. That's just $2 million, right? 40 grand every Friday. So every Friday shows up, I got 40 grand. Why is it that we allow that to happen? Like Jesse Ventura said, now he's a big libertarian. He's like, listen, everybody's so concerned about a minimum wage. Why are we never concerned about a maximum wage? There's no talent that you can have that is worth, maybe there's a talent that you have that is worth $40,000 every Friday. I don't know what it is, but maybe if you're a professional sports player, I understand that because your window of opportunity to play that sport might only be 3 or 4 years, right? So you've practiced, but wait, my sons have put countless hours into something since they were in kindergarten, right? Didn't get paid for it forever. And now, if you're the very best at it, you're going to cash in on that and make that money for 5 or 6 years, right? That's it. So you're a football player and playing football, getting concussions since you were in kindergarten. Now you're going to play professional football in the NFL, and you're like the 0.001% of football players get to do this because you're so good at it and work so hard. I get it. You're going to make this kind of money for 5, 7, if you're really lucky, 12 years. And then the career's over, right? You're going to find something else to do. Maybe sell your image, whatever you're going to do. So I kind of understand that kind of talent. But tell me the corporate talent that you can make $20 million a year and you can do it till you're 70.
Well, if you got a good idea and it fucking works.
But $20 million a year, that's low end. But $20 million a year, the guys who run the healthcare insurance industry make 30, 40, $80 million in a year. We're saying 20 million. Andy, that means every Friday, $400,000 is sitting there.
Right. I understand that. But you know what? Hey, if somebody had a good fucking idea, Bill,
Yeah, I find that to be kind of a silly thing to say, to be honest with you. How good of an idea is it, Andy? I mean, name somebody who had,
it's obviously making them that kind of fucking money.
well, because it's the system that we live in.
But yeah, but isn't the system that we live in make the most amount of money in the short amount of time?
No.
You know what I mean? Let's, I mean.
That's not mine. Is that your MO? That's how you operate?
No, I mean, in the construction business, I mean, my job is seasonal.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is when I'm doing the job that we're doing, like even I explain this to my sons on almost every job. The paycheck is terrific, but the very best thing about the job is the end of the job and people are happy.
Oh, exactly. Well, I understand that on the consumer end, but your kids are not sitting there going, well, let me take this speed square and do it like this or do it like that. They're down, they're click, click, bang, bang.
Oh, yeah, no. They want to get done with work.
They're hustling, right?
But the money is
Because
important.
because they know the faster that they get that quality job done, the more money they're making.
Absolutely. But that only goes to a certain extent.
That's my point.
The people, right, but construction is a bad analogy because
Okay.
you're a construction worker, you're going to make anywhere from $50,000 to $120,000 a year doing your construction job, right? If you're the contractor, then you're taking more risk. You've got employees, you've got overhead. You may make more money than that. But what I'm talking about is a hedge fund manager who doesn't produce any quality work of any sort at all, but makes $200 million in a year. You're telling me that he can't be taxed at a higher rate?
I'm not, no, that's not what I'm saying. We didn't even start talking
Well, that's
about.
how I'm getting to, but you were saying what was going to pay for UBI, and I'm saying people that make that kind of money could be taxed at a way higher. Jesse Ventura was saying that, listen, the way it should be done should be, listen, if you make $100,000 a year, you get taxed at the 25% that you get taxed at or whatever it is. But if you make $200,000 a year, then you get taxed at 27. If you make $400,000 a year, then you get taxed at 30%. If you make $800,000 a year, then we're going to tax you at 35%. But step it up. So the first $100,000 you made, you're only getting taxed at that original amount. The next 100,000 you get taxed at that amount. The next 200,000 get taxed at that amount. So it's a progressive tax. But by the time you get to be making $2 million a year, you should be getting taxed at about 90% on that 2 million and above. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you're still a guy that's making $1.9 million at a lower rate. So you're taking home a fabulous fucking living, but you're not somebody who's Jeff Bezos made $11 billion last year and paid $0 in taxes.
Right. That's why I don't go through Amazon. I don't buy any.
I gave up. I do everything I can through Amazon. Fuck it. Burn it down. Let this guy have it all. And this thing is not sustainable. I used to say that about Walmart. I used to be like, I won't shop at Walmart because them fucking kids are worth $40 billion a piece and there's 4 of them and it's bullshit that they don't pay their employees enough that I got to pay for their employee health care program. So fuck that. I'm not shopping there. That doesn't matter because no one fucking listens to that shit and they all shop there fucking anyway because they got cheap shit. So
The last time I shopped at Walmart was like 3 years ago, and that's when they were having a big sale on ammo.
but you understand what I'm saying, though? There is plenty of room to tax these people to get a situation where you get UBI for anybody who's making under $200,000 a year. Andy, if all it allows you to do is take an extra 2 weeks of vacation a year as a guy that works for a living, I'm all for it. If it doesn't stop you from being productive, nobody can live on $12,000 a year. So it's not like someone's going to be like, got my UBI, I'm done. Woohoo! All I'm going to do is sit home. You're not going to get welfare. How are you going to make it on $12,000 a year?
Right. Well, okay, if that's going to if that's going to shut the welfare system down and make everybody go to work, that's fine. Because
see, that's where we differ. You believe that people that are on welfare don't work. Almost 80% of people that are on welfare have a job. They just don't make enough money.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you my welfare story, if I may.
An anecdote. Go ahead.
No, it's my personal story because I was on welfare.
You what?
I was on welfare.
Okay. All right. Right. So, okay. So you're a guy who is against welfare. I'm a guy who broke my neck. I have never been on welfare.
Okay. So,
but I'm not against it because I understand that the major beneficiary to welfare is not an adult, it's a child.
Right. Now listen, I did not say that I'm against welfare. I said I was going to tell you my welfare story.
All right, go for it.
Okay, all right. So anyway, other things happened, and I've got like $6,000 left in the bank. My union insurance ran out because I went out and got reckless for a couple of years. But so people are like, hey man, go sign up for welfare, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
All right, whatever. So I go down to the welfare office. All right, walk in there. I'm the only Croatian person in there. I don't consider myself white. I'm Croatian. No, but anyway. So I go in there. I'm just like, there's all kinds of Cadillac Escalades all parked out in front of that place. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm driving this hunk of fuck truck, you know? All right, cool. Walk in there. Woman's in there, twins in the stroller, guy sitting next to her holding probably a 2-year-old, 4-year-old running around. They're yelling at him, whatever. She's got her hair all done up nice. She's got nice fingernails, blah, blah, blah. And all I wanted to do is ask her, how do you work the system? You know what I mean? Because I've been fighting for this shit for like 3 weeks coming down here, you know? So anyway, so welfare, they started paying my electric bill, paying my gas bill, doing this, doing that. Then they give me the link card, $600 a month for link.
Really? Because I'll tell you what, when I first got injured, they set me up with like all the information for that. I have 3 kids, and it was $400 a month.
Hmm.
So
Well, I'm talking shit. What was this? Let me think. 8 years ago.
okay,
So,
so I mean, you had a daughter, so like that
yeah.
that was right.
But anyway, so pick up my daughter from school, blah, blah, blah. We're eating steak. You know, she got done with her homework. We're eating steak, all this kind of stuff. And she was going to school at Washington in Joliet, right off of Richard Street. And she's like, "Hey, Dad, what's a link card?" I said, "Why? What are you talking about?" She said, "Well, me and another girl are the only 2 kids in class that don't have a link card." So what do you mean? She said, "Yeah, all of those people are making fun of us because we don't have a link card." And I said, "How many kids in your class are white?" She said, "Just me and that other girl." I was like,
Well, there's more white people
"Okay."
on welfare than black people, but
Right.
bigger
But
people.
you know, and that made me just say, hey, you know what? Fuck this blowing off work and all that kind of shit, and just get back into reality. So I was on welfare for 5 months, and then I went and found a job and been sticking to it. You know what I mean?
Right. So for me, like they put everything in front of me because what I was going through was the state would pay for me to go to re-educate me, right? Because I had my job and my career and everything else in my company. But when I got out of the hospital, my ex-wife had sold everything off for the company. It was all gone.
Right.
So my house was paid for, but I had no way to make any income. So I'm like, all right, I don't know what to do. So I go down to the office, and I'm sorry, my experience was different. There wasn't all these Escalades out there. There was a lot of cars with spinny rims, but not Escalades, and not real nice vehicles. There wasn't really a lot of vehicles that I would ever want out there. There was a lot of like Impalas and stuff like that. So, but anyways, I go there and I have a meeting with a person who's supposed to help me in this situation, right? I'm newly considered a quadriplegic, and I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? She goes, all right, well, I'm going to lay out for you all of the plans that we can get you, programs we can get you to work on, so that we can get, things done for you, so that you can be okay. And I'm like, all right. And they kind of expected me to take advantage of these programs and, I don't know, kind of like sit back. She was explaining to me how like I could be a student. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm a student and I'm learning how to be, this thing, then, when I go to be this thing, she goes, oh, no, no, you don't go to be this thing. What you do is you just become a student, and then we put you up in housing to be a student. And then, we'll pay for your bills and stuff like that because you're a student. And I'm like, yeah, but if I'm a student, I'm going to get a job. She goes, no, because if you get a job, you have to get a job that like, nets you enough money to like let all these other things go. So
Right.
like they added everything up for me. And I'm telling you right now, I had 3 kids and it was like $428 a month is what my link card would have been, which I turned down. I had taken out an Aflac insurance policy, and I was getting like I don't know what it was. It was like $995 a month for Social Security disability, which that's not welfare. You pay into that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's my money, which I thought was pathetic. I'm like, oh my God, I own a construction company. I made all this damn money, and this is what I get out of it if I break my neck. $1,000 a month almost, and $400 for the link card. And I don't think that I didn't have rent for them to pay, but they didn't say anything about paying my like heating bills and stuff like that. Cause I asked them about I'm like, listen, I live out in the country. I got propane. That's a bill that's killing me. You know what I mean? Like, can you pay my gas bill? Like, we will not pay that. You need to move into town and you need to move into a qualified house. My problem was my house was 3,000. Like, I did well before I broke my neck. I
Right.
had a 3,000 square foot house with a fucking full basement. They were like, we will not pay to heat that house. We
Oh, that
will.
house was fucking beautiful, man.
That was terrific and everything else. But, what they wanted me to do was sell everything. So you just sell everything off. And then when you run out of money, we'll pay. And I'm like, wow, that seems like a trap, right? So I sell everything that I work to build. I spend my money until I run out of money. Then you'll put me in a little shitty house. You'll
Right.
buy me some food, pay for my gas bill, and pay for me to go to school. But as long as I'm in school, the minute that I go to get the job for the school that I did, that shit's over with. They're not paying for that shit no more because now
Right.
you've got a job. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to do any of that because it all added up to be like, I think it was like $1,400 or $1,500 a month. And what they didn't know was I was already getting Social Security disability, and my Aflac thing that I had for a year was paying me $800 a month. So I
Right.
was getting like a couple $1,000s a month anyway, but I figured I better look into this because I don't think that this is all going to run out. And then what am I going to do? So I didn't do that. I decided, all right, I'm going to take the school that they'll do, and they paid for me to go to JJC for a semester. Their stipulation was that I had to take classes. I just want to take my real estate class. So I took my real estate class, but I had to take like a psych class. I took another math class. And so I had the 3 classes that I took. Then they paid for me to go to Harper College and take my broker's license classes for another semester. As soon as I was done with that and I had all my school done, I went and got my real estate license and started working. Like I was done with all that shit at that point. So never like did I ever have a link card or any of that stuff. But I can totally understand if I was in a situation where I was undereducated, I had no options, and I had say 3 or 4 kids to support. Their mother is got money, like their parents have money. They put her up in a condo and like paid for whatever the fuck. and she had food stamps. She was getting all that stuff. So like I didn't need that. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. And I can like, say that I never did that. So that's just how I operated. And then,
Hey, that's good on you. I took it because I absolutely needed it, but
yes,
it
right,
woke me up because I did not want to be in that system. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
That was
So,
that was the crux of my saying that, and not too many people know that. But once that happened, I'm like, fuck this.
okay, so there is,
No,
I believe that most of the people that are in that system have your story. Okay. You had hard times, you needed that thing, you're in a rut, whatever, and you got out of it. To say that you need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, get rid of all those programs because there's some jerk off here and some jerk off there that's abusing the system. It's very difficult to abuse that system in a way where you could actually get wealthy unless you're a drug dealer.
hey, being a drug dealer, basically, well, about 25 years ago, somebody told me, hey, being a drug dealer is the only way you're going to get rich in this world. You
Well,
know?
that's right. But think about that too. If
Yeah,
you were a drug dealer,
because
if,
there's
if
always going to be a snitch.
right. But if you're a drug dealer and you could seriously make, I knew some guys that sold some drugs,
Yeah,
sold cocaine, and
yeah,
they could make,
I've known quite a few myself.
right, but
Just,
they could easily make $10,000 a week selling cocaine. Why would you waste any of your time sitting in the welfare office, pretending to file for work, pretending to look for work, pretending to be a student when you're making $10,000 a week? You wouldn't even mess around with that couple $1,000 you're going to get from there. I make 10 grand a week slinging fucking rock. So I'm just going to go do that better. And then maybe I'll make more money. So like to think that there's this large portion of the population who is drug dealing and collecting welfare, it's not logistically probably
no,
happening.
no,
And
I
then
understand that.
secondly, like I said, most people on welfare, I got that lesson when I was in the hospital. I was in the rehab hospital for 4 months and I had literally the halo on my head. I had atrophied so bad I couldn't dress myself. So I had someone, it was called a PCT, a patient care technician, would come in, fucking wipe my ass, clean me up, move the bed, whatever the hell had to be done, dress me, get me ready for my day of therapy and everything else. You start to talk to these people and you realize that I figured you got scrubs on, you work at a hospital, you got to make $17, $18 an hour doing this job. It's not a good job. I mean, I had chili yesterday. That's not fun. So this is not a good gig. And I found out they make $9 an hour. $9 an hour. And I looked at this guy, Wayne, and I was like, Wayne, I know you got 3 kids. How do you make ends meet making $9 an hour? He's like, well, I work 50 hours a week. That pays me $450 a week. And then I qualify for public housing and all this other stuff. So with everything together, what aggravates me about that system is the hospital we were in, the vice presidents and the people that own that hospital were making bank. They were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if not, more than that. And they were paying poverty wages, which means that guys like you who are working for a living making $70,000, $80,000 a year, your taxes go to paying for their healthcare program.
Right.
I find that repulsive. There's money in that system for you to pay those people enough where me and you don't have to pay that. Walmart's the exact same thing. We should not be paying for those people's health care because Walmart, the fucking 4 kids are worth $40 billion. You've got enough money to pay your employees. You obviously have enough money to pay your employees. And if you don't want to pay your employees, then you should be taxed in a way that I'm not paying your employees.
Right.
That's my problem with the system. The real problem in the system is that when you're wealthy enough, you figure out ways to don't pay anything. And that's another way to make, that Joel Osteen, he makes a good portion of his money by the fact that they don't tax churches.
He's that preacher, right?
Right. So the 30% that he was supposed to pay in taxes, he's exempt. So when he makes, $500,000 a year, he puts $500,000 a year in his pocket. Now, if you made $500,000 a year and he was paying 30%, he'd owe $150,000 to the government a year. Do you know how many people on food stamps that pays for?
Yeah, right.
If you're getting $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. This one preacher guy is cheating. Well, he's making way more than $500,000 a year anyway, but he's cheating 150 grand a year.
Right.
So, like, when you're Jeff Bezos and you make $11 billion a year and you pay nothing, where I believe he should pay about 70% of that in taxes, if not more. I think they should tax people that make that kind of money in a way that almost makes it impossible to be a billionaire. If you took the $11 billion and said, okay, Jeff, instead of you make $11 billion, you made $1.1 billion in a year. This is what you get to keep. The other $10 billion is going to pay for every single person on food stamps. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to turn it into UBI and say that everyone's going to get $1,200 a month. And then that's the bottom. You're going to still be a billionaire. You're going to be so fabulously fucking wealthy. It's fucking insane because every year you make $1 billion. Think about that. $1 billion a year every fucking Friday is $50 million a year, isn't it? If I make $100,000 a year, no, it's $20 million every Friday for $1 billion, right? Or is it 200? 200 times 5 is it's $20 million every Friday on $1 billion a year. He made 11. So that means he was making $200 million every Friday.
Right.
So that needs to stop because that's a parasitic, that's a problem.
Right. Well, you need to run for president, Bill.
I don't, but that's not a job that I want.
Yes, you do.
Right. Well, thanks. But that's not a job that I want. So I would like people to these problems are easily solved by math, and I wish they would sit down and solve them. If you were somebody who, decided to make that the way it was going, Jeff Bezos is still going to have islands and helicopters and all this other shit that he has because he makes fucking $20 million every Friday, and he can do this until he's 80. Like, he can make this forever, but he's also making sure that nobody doesn't have the ability to go see a fucking doctor, the ability to just get by. So if you're someone I'm paralyzed from my chest down, 2 inches higher, I can't pick my arms up. You know what? I got a pretty strong will, but I'm telling you, I probably couldn't work at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I work 60, 70 hours a week, and I'm a quadriplegic. So when I drive up the off-ramp and there's the guy standing there with the sign, I look at him and go, dude, I got money here. Explain to me why I got to give it to you. Come over here and tell me why I, the quadriplegic who's working for a living, should hand you $10. And if you got a good enough reason, I will hand you $10. That's fine. I'll tell you what he's always going to do is be schizophrenic. And I'm like, dude, it's $10. Sorry. You got problems that can't be solved by a job. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So all I'm saying is, if you could make it that the basic things in a country that there's billionaires in are taken care of, dude, you saw the light when you were on welfare that little bit.
Yeah.
It's a small portion of your life that you were there. You saw the light and said, hey, fuck that, I'm not doing that no more. And you went to work. I guarantee you, if someone said, here's $12,000 or $15,000 a year, you would not be like, well, here I go. Fuck it. I don't have to work no more.
No.
What you would do is pay for college. What you would do would be pay for another vacation. What you would do is put yourself in a better vehicle. I mean, maybe they could make it that, listen, buy yourself a vehicle that uses less fuel. Buy yourself a vehicle that is, hybrid, whatever the fuck. But if it makes the world a better place, why aren't we doing it?
Right. No, I fully agree.
Right. So billionaires aren't making the world a better place. You know,
You
when
know what?
Bloomberg
I
was
mean,
running for president, I was like, dude, you could have solved problems. You got fucking $70 billion. You had $70 billion and you didn't solve any fucking problems. Why would you solve problems when you're the president? That make no fucking sense.
right.
Well, we're going to wrap it up, huh?
Oh, I guess if you want, you're ready to go to sleep.
I do gotta work in the morning, but what you call it? I gotta run to Harbor Freight and pick up a new miter box.
No, wore the old one out.
The old one's shot. We're still using it, but it's like so like it's loose or something. So like it's cutting straight okay. My concern is that it's going to become a safety issue, and I don't want my sons to have any trouble. That they
Right.
up or something. So, and Harbor Freight, the thing costs a couple $100, and I'll go buy a new one and be done with it.
I just wanted to say, on the end of this, hey, it's all us working class people that make this country go round. But if you could make your voice heard even more, that's great.
I agree, and I think it's even what you're saying is hitting the nail on the head. But it's even more than people think. The working class people, we are the grease in this thing. We don't just make the world go round. The world will come to a screeching fucking halt if all of us decided so. There was these books, the Atlas Shrugged bullshit, that was like, if you tax wealthy people too much, they'll just quit doing what they do.
Right.
Well, good. Quit doing that. So if you're the kids that own Walmart, hey man, quit doing that. That's fine. Give up the fucking billions of dollars you're making every year. You're never going to quit doing that.
Right.
But I have a vendetta, I really do, not against people that are working hard to make a lot of money. I want to work hard to make a lot of money. But there's got to be a point where it's too much money. There's no reason that one person should be holding on to that much wealth when there's people that don't have the basics.
Right.
If everybody had the basics, if Roosevelt, wanted to make sure everybody had a pot or a chicken in every pot, and everyone had a house and stuff like that. If once that happens, then I guess you could have billions of dollars and nobody's going to care.
Well,
while Andy's gone, I'm going to just take this time to, hey, would you, if you enjoy the conversation, try and make it enjoyable. Click the subscribe button on YouTube here, or, follow me on social media, whatever, to, help promote the podcast. I enjoy doing the podcast. I'd like to get more subscribers. Just want to do a little commercial while I was waiting.
Oh, sorry. I had to take quick calls for the cause, man.
That's fine. So that's my vendetta. My problem is that I don't want to see people suffer. I think that for the most part, I believe the good in people. I think that people want to have a living. I know if you took some kid that was in a bad situation, make him 19, 20 years old, no education, you said, listen, we're going to pull you aside and we're going to make you an operator in an operators union in 4 years. And you're going to make $85,000 a year. Every single one of those kids would be like, really? Fuck. I want to do that. That's fine. Because
you can't be an idiot about it. You know what I mean?
No, right. Now, the world's full of idiots. That's for sure. That's been shown for sure. This podcast for me was fun, Andy.
Oh, Bill, I had a great time drinking a fucking 6-pack of beer with you.
There you go. I had one beer and a little bit of whiskey, and I was done.
Oh,
but,
geez, fuck.
I got my Fireball sitting here.
Yeah, fuck. I saw your chest full of booze a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, fuck, and I'm the alcoholic? No, but fuck yeah.
I don't drink that often, to be honest with you. Like I like to have a beer or two here and there, and
Yeah.
I haven't bought any beer since this quarantine thing, and I had a mess of like Guinness and stuff. I'm down to my Bud Light, and I hate that shit.
Oh yeah, I don't like Bud Light, but
I don't
hey,
like no,
I'm just a beer guy, man.
right,
But
right.
you know what? I just want to say, um, there's so many benefits and everything that were scheduled for this year that, like me, the person, hey, if I got to give it, I'm gonna give it, you
Right.
know. Um, and the big thing for me is the hospice benefit that I do every year.
Yep.
Uh, fuck, that's already canked, I think, because I called the guy a couple weeks ago at the venue. He said, "Well, we're shut down until Pritzker tells us we can open." I'm like, "Okay, so I shouldn't order any beer, shouldn't, reserve the bands, shouldn't do this." He goes, "Not unless by some slight of miracle by August that we can open up." I'm like,
Right.
fuck, that's a lot of work that's got to get done in less than a month.
Yeah, because when is that usually for you? Is it August or September that usually goes on?
Remember, usually the Saturday after Labor Day.
Right, right, right. I think every time that you have that, I'm like usually out of the state or something
Yeah,
wrestling the boys or something like
you
that.
know.
I
So
always want to go, but can never make it. I
hey,
hope that it goes on because I know those people are, they kind of depend on that
oh
as
yeah,
far as that
big time,
goes.
big
Uh,
time. But
yeah, I mean, we all have our charities that we donate to and
yeah,
everything. I don't know. This, like I said, this coronavirus thing, there's can be some good that comes out of this. I see a lot of
learn lessons. I see.
Right. I see a lot of people that drive that shouldn't drive. Like, if you can do your job from home, stay the fuck home. Stop
Right,
making traffic jams. Stop making gas cost as much as it needs to cost. Like, work from home. I mean, think about the productivity. I know people that drive an hour each way to work and then they work 8 hours. So then that's a 10-hour day. If you
right,
do your job from home, which a lot of people can't, but if you can and you're not, then that's just silly. Like, you could do your 8-hour job and then do something for yourself because you got 2 extra hours to kill. Plus, you didn't spend money on gas and tires and oil changes and all the
right.
other. So hopefully some of that changes. Yeah, man, we're getting on 3.5 hours.
I was gonna say, I was just looking.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
just had,
every time,
yeah.
every time. But hey, since we're all isolated like this, let's do it again. Let's get on and talk
Oh
again.
fuck, I love it, Bill. I
And
love
for
it,
me,
man.
there's
Love
there's
you.
lots more that we could talk about as far as so just to recap, I'm a super progressive guy. I'm a Bernie guy for sure, and I'm a Bernie guy because I believe he's honest and I believe he's got solutions to problems. So that's why I like the guy. Now, am I a Bernie bro or whatever? No, fuck all that. But you're a guy that is dyed-in-the-wool Republican, Trump supporter, all that kind of stuff. And we had a conversation where I don't think we disagreed about that much.
No, exactly.
I
No,
mean, there's certainly no reason that in a civil war I'd want to shoot you.
no. Well, I come down and well, me and a bunch of my friends would probably come down and scoop your family up and say, "Hey, we gotta
Sure,
make
sure.
homestead here, or we gotta go."
Right. Something, right. Depends on where I'm at in the DMZ. You know what I mean? If I'm safe, then I'll be all right. But
That's okay, but I'm sure you wouldn't mind us bringing our guns down.
I got a bunch of guns too. But I mean,
I know.
honestly, when this thing broke, I was up one night at like 2 in the morning with my son, and I'm like, all right, this is, he said, what would we do if like it really went sideways? Like if people were out there like bandits and marauders, I'm like, this is what we would do. And I laid out a whole plan of how we would bunker the place down. It's a brick house, our
Yeah,
vantage points of where we're at, how we would set up and everything else. And he's like, that's pretty good. And I go, yeah, we'll be all right. We'll make it through a small siege. You know what I mean?
right,
As far as that goes.
right. No, I hear you. No, but I always got your back, brother. I love you, man, and got a lot of admiration for you. That's all I
I
gotta say.
appreciate it. I love you too. Like I said, a couple weeks, we'll get back on here and chit chat again. We'll talk about whatever else is coming up.
All right. Sounds good, Bill.
Good night, sir.
Good night, man. We'll talk to you
Sounds good.
later.